Hello, and welcome to my stream, which is also happening in addition to Trappy's stream. We are playing Numenera tonight on Tales from the Backlog. If you have never come by the stream before, this is where we try out every Monday a brand new tabletop RPG. Occasionally we do a repeat, but most of the time it's stuff that we have never played before. Tonight is one of those. It is Numenera, and I'm going to be GMing this for our wonderful players, including first time on the stream, Trappy Jenkins. Here we are.
Glad to finally be here. We've been talking about this for a long time. We both stream, both live in Southern California. Like, it was inevitable, but it was also like the direst of circumstances. Steve comes to me. He's like, Trappy, I need your help. We're losing people left and right. There's nobody else who could possibly join us except for you. And I'm like, all right, Steve, I got your back.
Those aren't direct quotes, but that's the gist of it. Yeah.
I don't know. Those sound like pretty direct quotes.
Yeah. Jason was around for most of these events. Yes. Numenera is a science fantasy game set in a distant future, a billion years in the future, upon the Earth, when 8 different highly advanced civilizations have risen and fallen in the past. And so there is now a human race that is at about a more or less medieval level of technology, but that lives in the ruins of these 8 great civilizations and can strip them for parts. So this is Numenera. Welcome to the 9th world. Why don't we go around and introduce our players, starting with Jason. We'll go clockwise, as we always do.
Well, we're starting with me. I'm Jason. I'm playing Ale Peaks. I'm a risk-taking delve who breaks down walls. And over the course of play, we'll see how any of that works.
That'll be you, Trappy. Muted.
I thought we were going the other clockwise. I'm sorry, not counterclockwise. Yes, Trappy. I introduced myself like 3 times before, but we're doing this again, and I will be playing the dashing and handsome Dash Rendar, rogue, roustabout. So what could you say about such a handsome and wonderful character?
Whatever you want.
And I'm Kenny, and I'll be playing Gimenez. He is a serene archist. They're sort of like natural leaders who works miracles, which means he has the power of healing.
Absolutely.
I'm glad someone thought of healing. That seems really important in dangerous situations like this.
Whatever. I have a shirt that displays my muscles, bones, and internal organs when I wear it.
Okay.
Is
okay.
That a good thing?
I'm hearing that for the first time, and I love it. All right. So we are... Oh, I'm Matt, and I'll be going to bed. Hello, Matt. Thank you for coming by. Optimat Prime. All right. So we are in the 9th world. You guys are sort of a group of salvagers who like to go out together and find Numenera with which to aid society while making profit. Today you are in a well illuminated chamber that you have discovered amidst a large white construct. It looks almost like a very small mountain range, like in miniature. The way this particular ruin that you've discovered is shaped. It is something you've spent the past couple of days exploring. But at this time, you have found a little chamber which is open to the sunlight. And in your explorations of this room, looking for technology that will be worth taking, there is suddenly an incident. Yeah.
I hate incidents.
I am actually going to ask for the first roll of the night, and this is not a Numenera mechanic. It is just something I want to do. Please, each of you roll a d6.
3.
6.
All right, what do we got? 6.
Okay. Ale Peaks, you are searching around this chamber when suddenly you hit something with your finger that you weren't supposed to hit. The door slams shut. All three of you are trapped in here as the entire room starts vibrating faster and faster, increasing in frequency. Panels burst open. Smoke comes billowing out of the walls. There's a bright flash, and you are somewhere else.
Oh.
You really done it this time, Ale. Where the hell are we?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
You guys see yourself in a hangar-like domed building of bronze-colored metal. It's very cold. It's nearly freezing. The only light comes from the open doorway. And there's a light layer of snow covering most of the floor. Where the floor is absent, you can see a series of symbols painted on the floor. Where there's no snow, you can see symbols painted on the floor, which are in a circle, taking up most of the room. The symbols are heavily scuffed and faded. But looking around, it's clear that salvagers have been here before you. There are metal panels pried loose from the walls. There's wires and cables hanging out. And you can see at a glance that anything interesting or valuable was probably looted from here long ago.
This place seems spent already, but that door over there, you think it's a trap?
Well, I mean, we could just break it down.
It is open.
Seems kind of suspicious. It's a door in the middle of nowhere. It's the only light.
The door is open. Does not need to be broken down.
We could still break it down, though. I don't want to
That's too bad.
on your dreams. That's what you do.
Yeah.
It is technically what I do. Yeah, let's I poke my head through the door. What do we see?
Poking your head out, you see that this building seems to be on a mountain slope. I'll assume that you step out far enough to see that these mountains, it's part of a range running north and south. There are a few trees sort of jutting out of the snow here and there. The upward slope is to the east, and the downward slope is to the west, and that heads towards a green valley, which you can see surrounded by a white distortion of some kind in the air. It looks like there's about 2 hours of daylight left, and I already mentioned the cold. So you guys are aware at this point that this cold is to a dangerous extreme. If you do not get out of the cold soon enough, you're probably going to take damage. Does anyone have warm weather clothing, or like cold weather clothing, like a warm coat of any kind?
Yeah, I've got a jacket and some long pants and sturdy boots in my pack over here.
Okay, if you were to don that, that'll mitigate some of the cold damage for you. This
Hug me
is
close, brother.
this is going to start. Anyone who does not have warm clothes, this is going to start damaging you every 10 minutes. With the clothes, you're gonna take damage every hour.
Okay. Well, if you've got an explorer's pack, you have warm clothes.
Yeah.
I have one of those.
All right.
What's the nature of the trees? Are they like pine trees, fully grown, or are they like scraggly dying trees, like they don't really live in the winter?
The latter, they are scraggly and dying. It is much too cold for them here. As for what type they are, there's a mix. This is the Ninth World. The trees are not of any familiar species, even to you guys, because you don't know where you are. It seems clear that you're far away from where you were. You're up in a mountain somewhere.
Because I'm thinking maybe if we can take down some of these branches, we might be able to build a fire. Somehow I think it might be somewhat difficult to get into that valley with the shimmering light around it.
I thought the trees were in the valley.
They are down towards the valley before you see any trees, but they're in that direction. But you will hit some of these sort of dying trees before you get to the valley. I don't believe I said this. I don't have a distance measurement for you, but it looks like you're about 2, maybe 2.5 hours away on foot from entering that green valley.
And you said the ground is covered in snow?
That's right. Okay, here's a roll. What kind of thing do you have that is like perception?
I have a skill in perception.
Okay.
Yes.
You know what? If you have a skill in perception, that'll lower this to a 0 for you. But actually, Gimenez is the one that asked. Do you have any such thing?
I have a power called Understanding, which would normally cost me 1 intellect point. However, I have an edge of 1, so that should count as 0, right?
Okay. Yeah, but this isn't so much an understanding as a noticing.
Okay, because it's observe or study a creature or object sort of thing, but if not, no.
Okay, you know what? Given that description of the ability, yeah, I will say that works for you. And anyone else who cares to take a look at the snow will notice that this is not actually snow. It's very cold, and it is white, and it's in tiny flakes, but it is not made of water. It is some kind of hard white metal resembling a seashell.
Ooh.
Most of these pieces are about
falls lightly like snow?
It does.
Or it's not falling.
It's that's an excellently phrased question. It's blowing in the wind like snow, but it is not falling from the sky.
Yeah, where is it blowing from? I want to look and see where it's blowing from.
You cannot tell. There's not like a single source of wind here. It's just wind in flurries. Yeah, but like I described, there is sort of a white distortion around the valley, which is a little bit in the distance from where you are now. And your best guess is that distortion is being caused by some of this, shell snow blowing in a circle around the valley. And you can tell, though, that what's happening there with that spiral of shell snow is not caused by wind. The wind is not doing that.
Gotcha.
But the snow out there moves that way nonetheless.
Gimenez is going to pull down, because Gimenez is cold. He does not have cold weather gear. he is going to study his shield for a second, and you'll basically see calmly Gimenez pull his shield down, kind of sit it on the ground, kind of sit in it and see if it'll work as like a sled. And he's going to test it out to see if he can descend down the mountain quickly on his shield sled.
Okay. That's a very cool idea.
I was gonna say I have a torch if necessary. Maybe we can use some fire to try to keep warm, but I don't think that would work sliding down a hill.
I will say only Gimenez can fit on Gimenez's shield.
Yeah.
However, that I have to say that's going to be a speed check. Sledding is a fairly common task. We'll call it difficulty 2, which makes a check number 6.
Okay. And so the question is, let's see, with that creature. So the question is, with the understanding skill, by observing and studying an object, the next interaction with that object gains one asset. So does the question of having studied before I'd gone down, does that give me a bonus for the going down the hill?
You have now studied both the shell snow and the shield.
Right.
So I'll say that does give you a certain amount of understanding of the best way to use this damn thing as a sled. And, where you need to steer it, how you need to hold it. Yeah, I'll say that you can lower that by 1 to make it a level 1 check, so you just need to hit 3 or higher.
And so calmly, as Gimenez sits on his shield, because he's very serene, says, "Well, boys, I'll see you at the bottom," and then pushes off and heads down the shield.
Did you roll that?
No, I'm rolling, so we'll see.
Okay. We'll see how the trip goes.
Right. But he calmly says it before he pushes off into down the mountain.
Yeah, you guys are
just look at Ale like.
You guys are busy putting jackets on, and Gimenez is just like, "See you later."
At 8.
Okay, well, not that difficult of a check. You tear off down the slope, leaving big flurries of shell snow in your wake. Some of them probably hit you guys in the face. And so I will describe what happens. I'll say that I described it as being about a 2.5-hour trip down there. I think continuing to sled, you're not going to get there in a few seconds, but I'll bet you, like, if anyone knows like how to ski really well, they could, like, cross-country skiing, they would know how much this would reduce the travel time by. But I'm just going to make something up and say that you'll get down there in about 45 minutes if you keep traveling this way. But that does mean you will still take damage every 10 minutes.
And your ass is going to be real sore tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, I want to remind you guys, the recovery mechanic in this game means you can get some of that damage back. So first, let me ask if it is indeed the party's consensus to go down to the valley. Gimenez has already headed out. What about Ale and Dash?
Yeah, fuck it.
I guess they made the decision for us.
Yeah.
I am still going to try to collect some wood, though, so that we can build a fire once we get down to the valley, because it's probably still going to be cold at night, even if it's not raining and snowing.
I would say
some of this snow, like it don't melt or nothing, right?
it does not melt.
But is it cold?
It's cold, but it's cold in this place.
So what happens when he holds it? Does it get warm? Is it wet when he holds it, or
No, it's made of little.
It's not water.
It's not water. You don't get wet. It's made of little flakes of like a shell, like a seashell. So holding it does make your hand colder just because it has like this high specific heat and it's really cold. So It's like it'd be like grabbing a cold rock or some cold metal out in the cold. It does make your hand a little colder, but it's not that this thing is ice. It's just that it's cold here.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Dash, you said that you wanted to collect some wood. Collecting enough wood for a fire is kind of a time-consuming task. You and Ale are set to take only 2 points of damage because of your warm clothing if you head straight there. If you stop and start chopping trees and collecting firewood, you're going to be exposed to this cold for longer, and you might take more damage.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought if they were dead trees, I might be able to like break off some branches, or they might even have some branches that have already been knocked down in the wind. And I just thought like collecting that way. But yeah, if I'd have to chop down a tree or something, you're right. That would take a lot more time.
I mean, I want to try something. I'm risk-taking. I'm a fool. I want to try and break one of these trees.
Okay.
Go.
So I have a tier 1 breaker. I am trained in tasks related to damaging objects with the goal of breaking, piercing, or demolishing them.
He was born for this, man.
Okay.
So, as a might act, it is a might action to damage an object, and on a success, the object moves 1 step down the object damage track. And if the might roll exceeds the difficulty by 2 steps, the object instead moves 2 steps down the object damage track. If I exceed it by 4 steps, that's 3 steps. Brittle material reduces the effective level of the object, while hard material like wood or stones adds 1 to the effective level, or 2 for very hard objects like those made of metal. Enabler.
Okay, this will be a difficulty 3 task, meaning, no, I'm going to call this difficulty 4. So you need to hit 12 or higher to break one of these trees. It is wood. So that's going to... You just read...
So that bumps it up by 1.
Which makes
But
it
is it like brittle deadwood?
Yeah,
it is. So I'm gonna say that because of that, it doesn't bump it up by 1.
Okay.
So yeah, you just need a 12 or higher. This is a level 4 might test.
Okay. So can I I can use my stat pool to do something to that?
If you would like to spend 3 points, I don't have your sheet in front of me. Do you have any edge in might?
No.
Okay, so edge is not relevant right now. You can lower a check by spending points from the relevant stat. So in order to lower it, the 1 step, you spend 3 points of might. If you were to...
And then, obviously, giving up that I have barely been able to read this, how do I get that might back?
There is a recovery mechanic, which I believe it's 1d6 plus 1. And the way recovery works is you're literally just taking a rest. And the amount of time you need to spend resting increases the more rests you take per day. So the first time it's actually 1 action. And you can recover, I think, 1d6 plus 1 might, or any pool, in 1 action. If you do it again, then it takes 10 minutes. If you do it again, it takes an hour. And if you do it again, it becomes a long rest at 10 hours.
Okay, well, yeah, let's spend 3 points of might to do something to that.
Okay, and remind me, is this an ability or a piece of equipment that you have?
This is
It's the breaker, you said?
It's part of my focus.
Okay.
I literally, I'm so unsure as to where things are supposed to be here.
Yeah.
No, don't worry about
I
it.
think it's under additional equipment, because I have additional equipment, a mechanism of some sort fused to my flesh that I think might have something to do with my ability to pierce solid material.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no,
But
no, I got
doesn't
it.
really-
It's part of, yeah, it's a focus breakdown walls. And that gives you a tier 1 of breaker is what you're looking at, Jason.
Okay, so it is both equipment and part of your body. So it is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's how I'm interpreting what you said.
Yeah.
Sure. I barely understand what any of this means.
No
So
problem.
And enabler just means that it's an ability that you constantly have. It doesn't require anything to activate or anything like that.
okay.
So let's go
Okay,
ahead and say, why don't you describe what you would like it to be? Because we know how it works now. We just need the flavor.
I mean, I was gonna say that it's me, like intrinsically being able, like, or whatever this mechanism is, allows me to like see the flaws in like things, so when I hit them, I can break them better.
Okay. There's
so
one.
I'm hitting it with my my techno mace to do this.
Okay, that sounds good to me. Go ahead and roll it. 12 or
Oh,
higher.
right, and this is a D20, right?
That's correct.
So I got a 19.
Okay.
Ooh, that's good. That's really good.
Yeah. I think you said there was. Hold on, maybe I'm imagining this. But yeah, you definitely destroy this thing, and there is wood all over. So what I was going to say to Trappy a minute ago is, it is not hard to pick up wood as you go. That doesn't really cost extra time. However, anyone who's been camping knows that picking up enough wood to have a fire that lasts for a decent amount of time actually does take a while. You have eliminated that aspect. You have knocked down a whole tree into tiny pieces.
Yay, I did something.
So you guys are free to carry enough wood for a fire without spending more than a few seconds on the task.
Let's pick up wood and carry it downhill for a couple hours.
Hell yes.
Yes. All right. So, Gimenez, am I to assume that you just keep sledding until you get there?
Correct.
All right. Please take 4 might damage.
Ooh, okay.
As the cold affects you every 10 minutes.
Now, damage, is that deducted from your pool? Is that what it is?
That's
Okay.
right. Your pools are something you spend to do things, and they also act as your hit points.
Gotcha.
So yeah, take 4 out of that. You are free to take some time recovering. Like I described a minute ago, 1 action is enough for your first recovery, so you can get some of that back. In this case, 10 more minutes in the cold is going to hurt you again. So,
Yeah. So and when I get to the bottom, you said so it seems like what we called the distortion was these flakes of seashells kind of bouncing off some sort of barrier.
Well, let me describe it, since you're there now.
Yeah.
The sort of shell snow runs out as you get to this place. You arrive next to this vertical bronze pole made out of that same sort of bronze-colored metal that the structure you arrived in was built from. It is about as thick as your wrist and almost 100 feet tall. On top of it, you can see a glowing blue crystal and a flattened metal ring floating above that. And then looking to your left and right, spaced about 600 feet apart, you see that there are more of these things encircling the entire valley. And this is where the barrier is, where the snow stops. And from this pylon, you can hear like a constant humming, kind of like, just very low. I'm going to go ahead and reassemble you guys unless Dash and Ale have any more experiments to conduct. You guys are here in about 2.5 hours, which is 2 points of damage with your warm clothing. Again, at any point in that, you could have spent one action recovering for 1d6 plus 1.
So, but I got to figure out how to get out of the cold. Or is it no longer cold down there by the shield?
Are you going to try and walk past the pylon?
I would first throw a rock. I'm gonna use a.
Okay. So let me see what happens when you throw a rock. I believe nothing happens when you throw a rock.
The rock goes through.
The rock does go through.
And it's either I'm freezing to death or I have this shield to walk through. All right. What I'm gonna do is I am going to study it.
Excuse me.
The shield as an action. So I'm gonna take how much cold damage? Or no, an action is not it's 10 minutes, right?
Yeah, it's 10 minutes to take the damage. So one action, you're going to be fine.
All right. So I'm going to study it. So therefore, I would get an asset in interacting with it. And I'm going to see if, like, sort of test it out. Like, if I get closer to it, does the vibration get louder?
Okay. So what you see studying it, it's warm to the touch. It's got etchings all over it. Like fine etchings on the surface, which look like they might be some kind of circuitry, but it's indecipherable. You do not feel... I've already described you touching it, so I'll assume that you did that. Nothing stops you from doing that. You're not harmed by that. What further actions do you take to examine this thing?
So you were saying I was touching the field or the pole?
The pole. You're touching the pole. Yeah.
Yeah. So the pole is warm, but not providing enough warmth that I would like. If I just huddled around the warmth of the pole, would I be able to ward off cold damage until
it is not warm enough for that? No.
Okay. I guess then. Well, hell, I can heal myself. So what I'll do is I'm going to take an action to recover. I'm going to use my healing touch, actually, which restores 1d6 stat to 1 pool. This ability is a difficulty level of intellect task 2.
Okay. So you got to hit 6 or higher on that.
Right. All right. So I succeed. So I get back 3 of my might. So at least I'm up to 7. And then I am going to try and touch the field.
There is nothing to touch. You pass right through.
Oh, then I'll walk right through calmly.
Yeah, it is significantly warmer in here. It's still like cool, but like you might need a light jacket. But you're no longer in danger of being hurt by the cold. I assume that you will wait for your friends to catch up.
Yeah, I will. What's the ground cover? What's it made of? Is it like grass?
It's grass.
And is there any trees nearby, or is there?
You see. Yeah, there are trees down in the valley a little bit. There actually looks like orchards. Trees are grown in rows.
Oh, well, I'll just kind of find if there's like a rock or a nice comfortable place to lie down, prop up my head with a shield, and take a nap and wait for the guys to arrive.
Alrighty. So you guys arrive, probably an hour and a half after Gimenez, and find him here relaxing on his shield inside of a green valley while you freeze your asses off in the shell snow. Yeah, you're here now.
We've got wood.
I've got wood all day and all night. But once we get to the
Can
valley,
we trade
I'm
this
going
for
to.
sheep?
I'm going to try to visually assess and try to look down the valley to see if I can see any kind of residences, shelters, or, as Ale so eloquently mentioned, animals or other potential food items. Now that we've established, like, okay, we can get to warmth, let's see what we can do about food and water.
Okay. Yeah, you.
And I'm skilled at perception.
You don't need it for this. Now that you're this far down and out of, through the sort of distortion effect of the swirling shell snow, you see, like I said, several kinds of trees in orchards. All of them look like they're producing some kind of fruit. You're still quite a ways off from them, but you can see little dots of color. And in the middle of the valley, there is a village. You cannot see.
Village?
Oh, what was that, Ale?
Is it our village?
It is not. This is a unfamiliar village. You don't see a road from where you are to the village, but you can tell that there is a road closer to the orchards. So you have to go cross country for a little bit, and then you can reach a road that will go through the orchards to the village.
I mean, is that going to be difficult to do?
No.
Oh.
I was gonna say though, I never brought in the cover image for this adventure, but I'm gonna do it now because this is what you see at the north end of the valley. Where is it? Not that folder. This folder there.
No. I saw something gray for a second.
Everything's frozen. Can you guys still hear me?
We hear you.
There we go.
Oh.
All my stuff froze for a minute. Here is your guy. This fella is a big statue at the north end of the valley, right at the edge where the force field is. Oops. Boop. There he is.
I didn't see it.
There you go. Yeah, so that is what you see. It's this big fucking multi-armed statue with a glowing crystal face and this sort of line of crystal light down his front in the middle. I see you squinting, so give me a second. I'll enlarge the relevant part.
It's fine.
Part of the image.
Squinting at everything right now.
Yeah. So that's what he looks like. You can't see too much more than that from your current position, but it's big as hell. Turn him off. Actually, I'll leave him on for now. But yeah, there he is. As you can see, he's celebrating Free RPG Day. Yeah, so you see that guy and you see the village. And this is just...
Is that the village?
No, this is just scrolling art for decoration.
Okay.
Looks like we really got ourselves in the shit this time, boys.
Yeah,
do we want to approach the village?
Statue over here, and there's a village over there, and there are some trees over here. I mean, what are we gonna do, guys?
Do we want to approach the village tonight, or do we want to try in the morning?
Or we could try, like, ransacking either that statue or that orchard.
The orchard is adjacent to the village and clearly belongs to the villagers.
Yeah.
The village, it looks like...
I refer to it as ransacking.
Right. The village is about a 2-hour walk from where you are.
What about that statue? How far away is that statue?
Well, the statue, like yourself, is on the perimeter of the forest field of like the protected area, but it's around the other side. You guys came from the east, so you're on the east side of this sort of circle of warmth. and the statue's on the north side. So significantly longer to walk around the perimeter. Several hours.
I say we go check out the village. Maybe they're friendly.
Yeah, it is starting to get dark too.
Or at
Strange
least they'll
things
have an
have
opportunity to pillage.
So one of my ciphers is a harmony lamp. I have no idea what that actually is, but I'm assuming it's not a lamp.
It brings harmony to everybody who sees it.
Yeah, I wonder what my travel bubble does.
A harmony lamp.
It's those. I guess ciphers are like one-use items.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're consumables.
Sorry, I
Good
looked.
question.
They weren't in the player's guide, and I meant to ask you about that.
So the interesting thing about this game is there's kind of two core books for it. I sent you guys the player's guide, which is kind of intentionally truncated to be easier to parse, but
Right.
there is like this. Discovery is like the only one you need to play, but Destiny is basically an expansion, but it's part of the core book. 3 of the 6 character types are in each book. So, like you only super need Discovery, but Destiny and Discovery as a set are considered the core books of the game. So I actually found Harmony Lamp in Destiny, but it's just on a table. Let's see where else I can find it. There it is. It says, for an hour after activation, the cipher emits a combination of colored light, sound, odor, and healing nanobots that permeate an area up to a short distance across. All positive interaction tasks made in the area gain an asset. Creatures who've made up their minds about a topic may be open to revisiting the issue. PCs add +1 to recovery rolls made in the area.
Oh, okay. All right. And the other thing I have is a far speaker, which I imagine is some sort of communication device.
Yeah.
Apologies.
For the next 10 minutes, the user can be heard at any distant location they can see, as long as nothing physically blocks the intervening space.
Okay.
They can also hear sounds made in return. So it's a 10-minute long line of sight radio, basically.
Okay, no worries.
Oh, my travel bubble probably would have been really good for getting us down that mountain.
Oh yeah, I forgot I packed that.
A one-time
I
use
have.
item, you never know. Maybe we could use it in the giant statue place. I get
Get
the
out.
feeling that's where everything goes
Seedlet.
down.
Oh,
Yeah.
see,
All right, Jameis will set off down towards the village, humming as he goes.
Alrighty.
I guess we're letting Jameis lead this party today.
Jameis just does stuff. You guys do what you want. Jameis is going to do stuff.
I'll follow. I'll sing a really jaunty, off-key tune to the rhythm of Jameson's whistling.
Okay. Okay, so you guys, after let's see, how much time is it? I said 2 hours. After you guys get down there, it's basically night by the time you get down there. You enter the orchards first, and you now have the village ahead of you. You have not been seen yet, nor have you seen anyone.
Is the trees fruitful? Is there fruit on the branches?
There is fruit on the branches. There is lots of it. Let's see. The trees have... the trees themselves are of many different colors, ranging from pale to sort of a dark olive, and they produce fruit in the colors of red, yellow, and blue. Also, some of them have nuts, and some of them also have a loose bark that can be peeled away from the trunk in big sheets the size of a book. Also, the taller ones...
Thing.
Yeah, a lot of the taller ones have wooden ladders or step stools resting against them.
I mean, as we're passing through, I want to pluck one of these blue fruits and, clean it off on my sleeve and take a bite.
It's good.
Good.
Yeah, you don't know what it is, but it's good.
Nope.
And you said it's quiet in the village. Is it like nighttime quiet in the village? Like the homes still have like slight signs of activity, or is it like eerily quiet? Like the streets are empty, the houses look cold and abandoned. Like
you're not quite close enough to not quite close enough to see that level of detail. You have no reason to suspect anything might be off with the village. It's quiet because it's night and it's not late night. But also, it's not a big village. From what you saw from up on the slope, it's maybe 100 to 200 people. So it's not going to be super loud at the loudest of times. So the question I have for you guys is, are you going to walk into the village, or are you going to maybe go somewhere else, try to sneak in, do some other thing I haven't thought of? What's the next step here?
Ale's inclination is just to walk into the village.
Same with Gimenez.
Ale is not one for sneaking.
Okay. So 3 people approach you as you pass through the orchards. There's 2 men and a woman. They approach you in a sort of cautious but curious manner. They look, all 3 of them, between like 30 and 40 years old. They're dressed in warm furs themselves. It is cold here. It's not as cold as up there, but it's cold. Their clothing and hair is adorned with little bits of that same bronze-colored metal that you saw up the hill and that the pylons were made out of. And each of them has like a shepherd's crook in their hand. So one of them approaches you. The man in the middle approaches you, steps forward, says in a little bit of an accent. He is speaking your language, which, by the way, is called the Truth, and it is the sort of shared language of all civilized areas of the Ninth World. He speaks it with an accent that you've never heard before, but the Truth is basically common. So he comes forward and says,
and speaks the truth.
And he says, hello, welcome. Where have you come from?
Thank you. Yes, we're weary travelers. We were exploring when we were kidnapped by a room, and we are seeking shelter and food for the night if you're able to provide. We didn't want to encroach on your resources without first asking for permission.
He glances at Ale, who's already eating a fruit, and then back at you and says, I'm sorry, did you say you were kidnapped by a room?
Yes, a very aggressive room we were exploring with some friends, these guys.
They look back and forth at each other kind of confusedly, and they say, forgive me, it's just extremely uncommon for visitors to come to the village. None of us have seen a visitor in our generation of life.
Yeah, we were just as surprised as you. I've never seen shells falling from the sky either. It's a very exciting day for all of us. Maybe we can talk over it, some gazpacho, or maybe a delicious soup if you have that available.
We have a lot of fruit and some meat that we make soup out of sometimes. It's fruit meat soup. It's not very good. It's probably better to just eat the fruit and the meats. It's probably better to just eat the fruit and the meat separately. I'm Ale. This is Rio and Yoma.
Your name is also Ale.
No, Ale.
Ayo.
Not Ale. Ale.
Ayo.
Good enough.
Ayo.
Come. Welcome to our village. You're not here to cause trouble, are you? I mean, we assume you're not, but like I said, we don't meet people here.
Yeah, not immediately, but there's that giant ominous statue you got, so like I would
Define
assume
trouble.
if any trouble is going to happen, it's going to come from there.
What do you mean? That's the statue? The icon?
Yeah, look at it. It's all standing there and posing like that. You never know when it's going to come down and dash over the village.
Well, it never has yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe the first time you get villagers, it's the time it decides to go crazy.
Listen, stay away from the icon. It's forbidden. We do not approach the icon.
Why is it forbidden? Maybe it's the only way for us to get home.
We should bring you before the elders. The icon is holy. We do not approach the icon. The last time anyone approached the icon, there were earthquakes and danger, and one of the pylons stopped working.
Well, I'm something of a religious man myself. Maybe I can communicate with it in a special way. Also, I have skills in lies and trickery.
At this
trained
point,
in all interactions involving lies and trickery.
Okay, well, at this point, they have stopped walking you to the village, and they're like, if we are to bring you into the village, you must promise not to cause trouble, and that includes approaching the icon.
Gimenez says, with an air of confidence and a charisma for everyone to see. I am going to use my demeanor of command ability, which will cost me 1 intellect point, and basically say, "Take me to your leader," which is literally what the ability is. So when I speak to non-attacking strangers, I can have my say. I can attempt to have them produce their leader or ask that they take you to their leader. I get 1 free level of effort when applied to 1 persuasion task during the next hour.
I am going to say that you don't need to roll that because they were half intending. They already said they wanted to. Right. They wanted you to talk to the elders, so they were probably going to do that anyway. You saying "take me to your leader" is like. All right, I guess we'll take you to the elders, and they just take you into the village.
Yeah, but once talking to the elders, I'll be able to have that extra effort to.
Excellent.
If I have to do a persuasion task.
Okay. So in the village, you see. Where's the village? There's about 25 houses here, and they are built in 2 different styles. Some of them are just domes made out of that same bronze metal that you've seen several times now. Each dome has like 1 door with a circular pad next to it that you see a couple people use them. You just touch the pad and the door opens and you can go through. The rest of the buildings are square and just made out of stone and sod roofs. So clearly it's some of these buildings are artifacts of the Numenera, and others were built by these people or their immediate ancestors. It looks like they're generational homes with several generations of a family in each home. There's a lot of food from the orchards around. There are birds. I didn't actually describe the birds, but you guys saw these sort of fat-legged birds as you were passing through the orchard. They weren't particularly terrified of humans, but they didn't let you touch them either. They would kind of scurry away. And the villagers they're eating the eggs, and they give you some food of this type. There is meat in the village, which you gather comes from hunting local animals. So they're talking to you as you sit down for a meal, and you can gather, a few small things about the village. They don't really have to work too hard here. Keeping the orchards is pretty much all the work they do. The pylons keep the valley at a moderate temperature all year round. and they also, you learn from this discussion, the pylons do actually create a force field, not just against the weather, but a field that stops very large animals from coming through, or that stops anything from moving too quickly. Your thrown rock was not moving quickly enough, but any sort of missile, meteor strike, bullet would have been stopped by a force field. So that's what you learn. These pylons keep the village so safe that they basically don't have to do much except sit around and tell each other stories. The only real threat that they face here is the potential for inbreeding, because there's not that many of them. And they can't get out. There's no real way out of the village. None of them have ever really tried, but their ancestors came here long ago and became stuck. And it was their ancestors who appropriated the technology of the Numenera. These people were called the Founders now, and they're worshipped in a quasi-religious fashion. Just several generations ago, the Founders built the pylons from the wreckage of whatever Numenera is around here. And that is why the place where you arrived had already been stripped. The village and the pylons that defend the village were built from the technology that was found in this area.
Okay.
I look over at Gimenez and I'm like, this looks like a zoo, like an exhibit. Why are these people being kept here?
Interesting. Or are they in a prison that they made themselves?
Well, someone does speak up when you say that and say there is a way down the mountain. You can continue further down the mountains to the west, but nobody who's gone that way has ever come back, so we don't really know how safe it is. A generation ago, there were some other visitors that went that way, and they did not return.
What happened? You said you haven't had visitors in a long time. What happened the last time you had visitors?
That's a good question. There were two groups of visitors that are relevant. One was 40 years ago. They showed up. They said they came from a place far away. They did not heed the elders' warnings about the icon and chose to go look upon the underworld with their own eyes. This is something else that you gather from the conversation at dinner, is that there is a cave mouth, an opening at the base of the icon that is also forbidden. So these strangers came, they ignored the instructions of the elders and went and looked. And that is when there was, they were never seen again. They went in the cave, never came back. But right after they went in, there was a big earthquake and one of the southern pylons stopped singing. So the field was weakened. They are viewing this situation. They're basically treating this icon like a god that protects their valley but is easily angered. And if you go fuck with it, then punishment may be visited upon the village. It's basically, it's like a sleeping god is how they describe it. Did you guys have anything to discuss with each other or anything else to ask the villagers before we move on? Because you guys have a good amount of time here to eat dinner and stuff and talk to them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and you said there was the second group that left.
Oh, right? Yeah. Let's see. The one from 40 years ago went into the cave. So I read it earlier and now I can't find it again. But yeah, there was another group of strangers that arrived so long ago that only the elders remember it. But
okay.
The elders being like 140 years old. They remember another group of visitors who came and were invited to stay in the village, chose to leave. They went down the slope and were never seen again. And you are getting strong hints that, if you mind your manners and prove to be decent people, that they wouldn't mind you guys staying and becoming part of the village, because the gene pool kind of needs it.
I'm noticing a trend here. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of good options. Either we go down to the valley and disappear, we go to the giant monster and disappear, or we stay here and I guess still disappear, right?
Dash, something's just occurred to me. I don't believe we've described Barfy.
Oh no, not yet. I was waiting until we got to dinner, and you'd see like from under my vest a tiny little nose like perk up and like sneak some snacks under my vest.
Dash Rendar appears to have some sort of companion, which you guys would know about since you've traveled together a bit. But yeah, hey, look, it's Gimenez going downhill.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Right on cue.
All right, I threw up a picture in the Discord so you guys have like a mental image to yourselves.
Let's see. Oh, all right.
It's a dog disguised as Chewbacca. All right. Cute. So you guys, as dinner is wrapping up, you see three sort of floating spheres, each the size of a large chair, come towards you. You guys have been eating sort of out front of someone's house. You know, the houses are pretty small, not much room for guests, so they've brought a table out front. You guys are eating out in the street, basically. But these three giant floating balls come down the street towards you, and you see that the villagers who are present, several other houses have come by. Everybody's very interested. The villagers that are present, they sit. Some of them bow. They are treating these approaching orbs with reverence. And as they get closer, you see they're not just orbs. The top is open, and they are actually floating chairs. With some very old people in them. The elders.
They're important because they got big chairs.
Yeah, well, the great elders arrive. They look quite old. They also look like they are mutating. They have features on their face and on their limbs that suggest like crustaceans a little bit. Like they're starting to get shell and claws, and you can spot tiny extra limbs growing under their arms. They're still recognizably human, but clearly mutating. And each of them appears to be bonded with this machine that they're in.
The chairs.
The chairs.
I look over at Jameson Ale and I give them a look that like no one else would really pick up on, but they would know immediately. That's like, we got to get the fuck out of here. I'm not turning into a fucking crab person. Not doing that.
Yeah. So, Steve,
yeah.
Is this normal?
This exact thing is not normal, but
not specifically, but in general. I mean, do people in this world mutate into things?
Yes.
Uncommonly, or
so you live in a world that has humans and it has like offshoots of humanity in it. There are, a billion years in the future, 8 great civilizations have risen and fallen. And when I say great, I mean like dimension-spanning, galaxy-hopping civilizations. So some of the people on Earth now are full-on aliens. Some are half aliens. Some are genetically engineered. So and you yourself have some technology bonded with your body.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
So it's not uncommon to run into stuff that's weird and that you've never seen before. Because also these 8 fallen civilizations were all different from each other as well. So people finding and experimenting with technology they don't understand, combined with the the actual living remnants of these civilizations in the form of aliens and mutants. It's a thing that happens.
Yeah, I think Cook had kind of explained it using Isaac Asimov's, the technology is so advanced.
Well, sufficiently advanced technology as indistinguishable from magic.
Right. So to us, like, while we as players, like, people know that this is a tech, to the people it would seem like we're magic users and whatnot. So, but yeah. So Gimenez is gonna kind of like look up if he can see the statue, kind of look back at the people and try and see if there's a resemblance. Are the people mutating into a statue? Like you mentioned, little extra arms. If I recall, it had 4 arms.
I was gonna say, other than the arms, you don't see any clear resemblance. The statue itself doesn't have a face. It's just this giant blue gem. So it's not clear, other than the number of arms. These people have not mutated far enough that they would resemble anything that closely. You don't really know. But they do, as they approach you, one of them sees Dash's look to you guys and says, "Do not be alarmed."
Question. How do the rest of the people in the village look? Are they equal levels of varied and different that we would find elsewhere, or are they relatively homogenous due to their small group size?
They all look like regular humans. Like you would like you might find anywhere. They have made use of the Numenera. They have gadgets and stuff, but there are no aliens here or anything like that.
And it's not like everybody else has like carcinogenic aspects also, right?
That's correct. Just these 3.
Turn into crab.
Just these 3. One of them approaches you, and off of the look that you gave the other 2, he says, "Do not be alarmed. I am Okaye. This is Ogrum and Thok. We are the great elders of the village. We came.
Pleasure to meet you. Pleasure to meet you. Dash, Rendar, and of course, this is Gimenez and Ale Peaks, my wonderful traveling compartments. So we were interested in learning more about the facilities you have around here and possibly some of the happenings that have been going on lately. If you wouldn't mind answering this.
Well, the only significant happening in Bardak in recent years is your own arrival. We three are unique in the village. I understand that you might be alarmed at our appearance. It is the result of us choosing to bond with the crucibles, at which word he gestures at the floating chairs that they're on. These crucibles are what allow us to live past our natural lifespan. We do not know what the end result of our mutation will be, but we are 140 years old thanks to our choice to bond with these machines.
Looks like carcinization's happening. What are the other benefits you get from the chair besides living a long time and getting all ghoulish?
We are. He doesn't seem to understand the word ghoulish, but he says, "Well, we are strong and healthy as we ever were. And of course they float around, which is kind of fun.
But doesn't have like a cogitator in it that can do like advanced arithmetic or anything like that?
Not that I know of. I had Dungeon Matron in the chat. Hello.
And where, by chance, did you find these devices?
Oh, they were recovered from the ruins when the Great Elders, when the founders came to Bardak originally. These devices, we were the first to use them. Our grandparents were the founders.
How long did they live?
Well, as I said, we were the only ones to use the crucibles, so they lived an average human lifespan. I have heard that you were making comments about the icon. It is.
Yeah, it seems very ominous over there. It's very large and intimidating, some would say.
Oh, that
and
it
also
is.
it's kind of like trapping you here.
Oh, I don't know that it is the icon trapping us here. The icon is what keeps us safe from the elements and the creatures that prowl the valley.
Yeah, but like think of a cow, right? When a cow is on a farm, it has all of its needs provided for it, but this is to serve another end, right? So I'm wondering, to what end is this creature harvesting, farming you? Because it seems very intent on keeping you alive.
You fail to understand the situation. Our ancestors came here in a manner not dissimilar from what you yourselves described. They found themselves here one day and were forced to survive. It was the founders that built the pylons that keep this valley safe. The icon was simply here when they arrived. You speak of us being farmed, but
you said the icon also powered the pylons too, because when the last group of explorers went to the icon, there was a disruption in the pylon. So clearly, the two are interconnected.
Yes, that's correct. The icon keeps us safe by powering the pylons. That is correct, but it was nonetheless our people.
Well, and how did these animals get here too? Did your ancestors bring the animals with you as well?
What animals? The birds?
Well, you said there was meat available from hunting local animals. That's what I was curious about. Because those animals, they wouldn't be adapted to this kind of cold environment if they're living in this valley.
No, the animals were here before. It's just animals from the mountain.
When are there any records of from the founders when they explored the ruins in regards to what they found and how things were?
No, there's nothing written, if that's what you mean. Only those of us who are old enough to have known them. All the records were lost some decades back due to a misstep by one of our residents.
That is a shame.
So, to what degree of exploring have you even gone close to the idol? Like, are you banning people from approaching it at all, or allowed to go to the front steps to worship, or like, what's the degree of separation you're trying to keep?
There is an approach to the icon. We do go at times. People from the village will go to leave offerings. We stop some distance from actually touching it or being close enough to see into the mouth of the cave opening.
So there is a cave there, though, an opening.
There is an opening. The elders were forbidden by our own elders from ever entering, and it is clearly a rule that was given for a reason. Because when visitors some time ago broke the rule, the valley was indeed punished.
See, but that's what I mean. That's why I'm inclined to think that, like, this overseer is shepherding you because they felt the need to punish you instead of being ambivalent to you as, like, a power source normally would be. Like, I have a battery pack, and if my battery pack gets mad at me, it still works, right?
You are ignoring every piece of evidence except for the fact that a pylon broke. The valley has had people living in it for generations now, and all of them have grown old and died without being harvested or whatever it is that you think the icon is doing to us.
Right, but a god wouldn't, like, need your meat, right? Maybe it's harvesting your soul or your worship or something. Maybe it's the power of your belief that's living off of.
Maybe, but it was here before we got here.
And like I said, maybe it's the reason you're here in the first place. Maybe it brought your ancestors here for some purpose.
Have you
Because, like I
ever?
said, we don't know, or I don't know how we got here.
What is
But we
your?
are right next to this.
What is your home like?
Perhaps it just brought them here
What is your home
without
like?
purpose.
Do you have a place where you are from? Do you have a village?
I'm kind of stay in a place. Usually I go around from place to place, but my ship's been impounded. Alcyon, the fastest ship in the galaxy, but only when you can drive it.
What is a galaxy?
Yeah, that's good.
So turning to the elder, I say, well, it's very understandable that you're most concerned with survival in such an inhospitable environment, and therefore your number one priority is to ensure the safety of your people. But at the same time, one can see that this is, in the long run, not necessarily a healthy place to stay. So why not let us help find a way to connect you to, if we can find a way to restore connection to a nearby village or some sort of means.
Or maybe there's some magical technology that could help other people live super long times instead of just the elite.
I'm gonna tell you guys. I'm just gonna describe sort of what you're seeing here. The great elders are clearly agitated that you have just shown up in their village and begun trying to deconstruct their society within an hour of arriving. Like none of these people have the slightest bit of a problem with living in this village. It's fine here. Like you guys are inventing these boogeymans and they just don't understand why you're being so insulting.
I'd like to just to point out.
Yeah.
Dash is inventing boogeyman.
Oh, they're aware of that, and they did notice that Gimenez spoke quite differently from Dash, and that Ale has not.
Real concern, you guys.
And that Ale has not spoken much at all. But yeah, I'm going to say, Dash, can you? Actually, I'll have all three of you do this. This is going to be a level 4 task. But I'd like you to roll a intelligence on the great elders to see if you can read the situation a little bit more than you have. So a level 4 task means you're going to have to hit 12 or higher.
Can I use my perception skill?
Yes.
And that reduces the DC, right?
Yeah, it reduces it by 1 step. So instead of a 12, you're going to have to hit a 9.
All right. Wish you luck.
Is there any deception involved on their end?
No.
Because I can see through deception. Okay.
No, they're not deceiving you.
All right.
All right. Good luck, roll.
All right. I got a 17.
Okay.
I got a 4.
Okay, Dash, you're clueless. Ale, what'd you get?
Well, I'm perceptive. I've got perception as well.
Okay, so you can roll 9 or higher.
Okay. 15.
Okay, so Ale and Gimenez, Dash is so busy spouting off about every conspiracy theory that enters his head about this icon statue that he doesn't stop to sort of read the situation. But you two... whether you kind of agree with Dash's suspicions or not, you are able to notice that these 3 elders, in the manner of a group of people, are kind of reinforcing each other's beliefs and prejudices by being near each other. And if you were to have any hope of trying to sway one of them in any way, you would probably need to get them alone. Right now, you're confronting the 3 of them as a group in front of a number of villagers. So the odds of them being like, you know what, you're right, topple our society, it's not going to happen. But like, if you were to get one of them alone and maybe present some idea that sounds reasonable, you might have better luck.
Well, I mean, I've got no inclination to like topple their society.
No, I know that, but like what Dash is saying to them right now
Right.
sounds like that's what he wants to do to them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
I'm just asking questions here. I'm
I
just thinking
Oh,
like a free mind, right?
oh no.
the guy next to you who gave you the food you're eating is like, "We're not slaves. We live here. That's it."
Uh, so I assume that so here we're at a dinner at their you know um, that they're honoring us with, right? Because they didn't have to feed us.
Right.
And so, Jameis was like, well, first and foremost, I would like to thank you on behalf of my friends and I that you've taken in three weary, strange travelers who have come out of the blue, and we can understand any suspicion that you may have. But we are just explorers who pushed the wrong button and have come down from the mountain seeking shelter. And we would love to help in any way we can, and hopefully, in the process, find a way home.
Yeah, we're just three dipshits.
And if we
Maybe
topple
we can take a
society
look
by
at this
accident,
pylon
like
for you.
Yeah.
You know what? Just to speed things along in the manner of one shots, I'm gonna say that does sort of satisfy them that you mean no harm, and that maybe Dash just likes to say things, but you're just some people who got here somehow. They put you up for the night, and Jameis, you mentioned you'd like to help.
Right.
In the morning, you start to become aware of the fact that the village would appreciate your help with their various work and stuff. And they kind of ask you like what you had in mind that you would be interested in helping with.
So basically, before, if I could sort of retcon, basically during the night, talking to Dash and Ale is basically if we help out the villagers and present ourselves in a friendly manner, we could potentially gather intel on how the village dynamics work or how maybe the shield works. For example, they mentioned the broken pylon. So maybe if one of us can get a job that goes towards the damaged pylon, we can figure out how that's maybe connected to the statue.
Like I said, we could offer help.
Right.
See if we could help them repair or at least diagnose this broken pylon.
Right.
And, profit.
Right. So
yeah, that's my problem is the kindness of our hearts doesn't really have a high profit motive. But I look at that god creature over there and I'm like, there's a lot of juicy technology under there. We could get paid an awful lot. I mean, this is a small village. We could be kings with what's in there. Those carcinogen chairs, the ones that turn you into crabs and make you live forever, you don't think people would pay insane prices for that?
Dash, you look down at your vest and you see Barfy looking up at you just going.
Yeah. So and Jameis just kind of lets out a calming sigh and goes, Dash, do I have to remind you again? Think of it as the long con.
But that's the thing is we haven't got to the part where your con gets us into the god temple. If we play good villagers and help them, that will ingratiate ourselves to them. But then we're still just that, villagers, and that's the end of our story. And I don't know about you, but I'm meant for much greater things than just living as another villager.
All right. I'm going to apply some mechanics to what is going on. But you guys are you're discussing ways in which to help the villagers.
Right.
Your offer to address the quiet pylon, as they call it, the one that no longer hums, is met with like shrugs and an assumption that that's bullshit and nobody can do that. But they do have some other things that need doing. There is a new couple that has gotten married and needs their own house. Stone needs to be gathered to build their cottage. Then that cottage needs to be built. The village could also use more meat and more hides. The valley provides plenty of food for them, but they get tired of eating the same fruit and eggs over and over. And if they want something else, they got to go hunting. So your assistance in hunting would be welcome. Your assistance in gathering stone and building this cottage would be welcome. And like I said, to apply mechanics to it, this is going to be something that takes a few days of your time to do this kind of work for them, but will lower the difficulty on any further checks to try and convince the elders to let you go up to the icon.
Yeah, I'm thinking if there's some sort of work that can take us near the broken pylon, I think between Ale, you're pretty knowledgeable. You're knowledgeable on how Numenera stuff works, right?
I'm good at salvaging it.
Okay. And I have the ability to understand. What about you, Dash? Are you able to do any crafting with Numenera stuff, or no?
Not with Numenera stuff specifically, but I do have the ability to pick up stuff pretty quick. So once per day I can change what my specialty is. So I guess I could look into either understanding or salvaging Numenera as one of my skills for the day.
I want to address the requisite question in that work that can take you near that quiet pylon. There's only one job the villagers need doing that is anywhere near it. There is a cave near that pylon that has become overgrown with icy growths in the past few days that look like kind of like a castle. And the elders have said that the last time something like this appeared near the village, it meant...
Oh, there he is.
What happened? Did I drop?
Welcome back.
You froze for a second.
Oh, I was not aware. You guys all look totally... Oh. All right.
So you had just started telling us about some job that would get us close to the quiet pylon.
Yes, I was. And before I continue, please give me a moment to fix this because you guys are now frozen in OBS. What if I turn you off and back on one at a time? That didn't work. What if I put you on active speaker?
Oh, no, everybody's frozen.
And then back to chapter 25. No. I see you guys moving in Skype, but I don't see you moving in OBS. That's obnoxious. So I was going to say, I'll tell you what the job is real fast, and then we can take our 10-minute break, and I can try and fix this then.
Sure.
But
sounds perfect.
Yeah, the elders are there was a cave near the southern pylon that has become overgrown with like icy growths in the past few days that have shaped themselves into something resembling a castle. And the elders are saying that the last time something like this appeared near the village, it meant that some dangerous creatures called ice weavers have moved into the area. It is begrudgingly suggested that someone could go investigate this, but you are being warned strongly by the elders that these creatures can suck the heat out of a person's body and that they travel in packs. So it's pretty dangerous. But that is the only job they have that's anywhere near that pylon.
That sounds like a lucrative job. We could do lots of pillaging like you like.
Steve?
Yes, sir.
Did the stream just go black?
No, I don't think so.
No, mine.
I mean, like on Twitch.
My OBS still shows that I'm streaming. I have frames going out.
No, Twitch is playing. We're all frozen except for Steve.
Yeah, that's what I see on mine and his.
Okay, I'm gonna try this again.
All right, well, you guys think about that. Let's take our break. We're obviously having some tech issues, and maybe we can address them during the break.
Okay, fine.
But yeah, thanks guys for playing. I hope you're having a good time with this one. And we'll be back in 10.
All right.
Yes.
Welcome back. This is Tales from the Backlog, and we are playing Numenera. Now you're all caught up. So you guys are in this village.
You're all caught up, and you know basically as much as we do.
There you go. You want more information? This adventure is called Ashes of the Sea. Boom. Now you're educated.
What? But there's no sea or ashes so far. Like,
so
okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Before the break, Jason actually gets it. Before the break, I described several jobs that you guys might do for the village. Most of them were just standard, like work a day, do village stuff, like gather stones, build a cottage, hunt for food. One of them was suggested was maybe go hunt or try to kill or drive away these ice weavers, which are these dangerous creatures that have set up a nest near the one pylon that has gone quiet.
And what's the configuration of these creatures? Are they humanoids, arthropods, tetrapods? What are we looking at?
I think they're ice monsters.
But like what flavor of ice monsters? Are we talking like wampas or tauntauns or
crystalline?
This isn't exactly them, but this is kind of them.
Oh shit.
Oh, they're bugs.
With leaky nipples.
Yeah, imagine that, but this picture that I'm showing you kind of has a sideways mouth. Imagine that the mouth is not sideways and that there are eyes with kind of a shell that comes down over most of the face. And that is what the Ice Weaver looks like.
And it sounds like from the villagers that they have faced these creatures before.
Only the elders speak of that, yeah, it has happened before, but nobody has seen any ice weavers lately. This thing arrived, or this ice structure grew up around this cave, and the elders are saying that last time that happened, there were ice weavers.
Well, I was just curious if the elders recall if there were the last time their village faced this threat, if they had to fight them, if they knew of any tactics or
if we just burn down the castle,
right.
Would that work?
They don't know the answer to that.
Try.
That might actually hurt. What the elders have told you is that these creatures absorb heat from people's bodies. But more generally, they absorb heat. So trying to burn down their castle might make things worse. Yeah, they absorb heat and excrete ice.
If they excrete ice, that means ice is a waste product to them and therefore probably harmful to them. So maybe we can exploit that in some way.
Yeah.
Just smash it.
Yeah, no, I'm already a big fan of smashing. I think whatever we do, you're gonna one-shot the big building. Like that is a complete picture in my mind of what's gonna happen. You're gonna walk up to this castle with your hammer and just shatter it into pieces. How we get there, how we get to that step, is what the plan is going to be.
Yeah.
I figure we're gonna walk there.
I guess the question is, if these, are we walking into death versus, maybe if we do the other stuff, we can, or if one of us stays behind and does some manual labor, the other two of us can go say we're going for a walk and just go check out the broken.
The elders don't say anything about that, but some of the other villagers do when they hear you talking about going and confronting the ice weavers. And they say, the last time that this happened, this ice castle thing only lasted a few months and then it melted and broke away. Um, it might be okay if we just leave it alone.
Hmm.
They ask with a question mark.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if
Or we could knock down a hornet's nest.
yeah. I guess the question is this a symptom of an issue with whatever, magic is keeping the shield in place, of it being disrupted by whatever happened?
Or vice versa. Maybe the shield could prevent the ice temple from being formed, if that's the nearest place to it, right?
Right. Is if the ice shield, so it sounds like if this shield is keeping it warm inside, whatever these creatures are coming out from whatever cave, so I'm assuming subterranean, and like you're saying, that the villagers talk about it disappearing, then maybe the natural heat melts this castle eventually, and it's not really that big of a threat, unless you decide to go as Ale so eloquently puts it, go and decide to kick the hornet's nest, which could, if the hornets were perfectly fine without us bothering them, maybe it's worthwhile to just leave them alone.
But then again, maybe we can pull a portion of them away, like lure some away into maybe a trap, and then take care of them that ways. Metaphorically kick the hornet's nest to get their attention, and then put them into a situation that's advantageous for our victory.
Possibly, but there's only 3 of us. Can we risk potentially being, if they mention I think the attack as a swarm, there's a good chance the hunter can turn into the prey, I think.
Yes, that's true.
It may be worthwhile to I know, here's what we'll do. We will tell them that we're going to go do a reconnaissance of this ice castle. We will go check it out, but just very from afar, but use that as an excuse to then go check out the pylon, which is what we really want to do. So we can show that we're looking to help, not really help, and kind of do what we want to do. But eventually, we
can still potentially help.
We can still help in other ways, but at least in this case, that's the monster looking thing?
That's the correct monster.
Yeah, I don't want to mess with that.
Oh man, I've had those in my
apartment how big before.
Those are terrible.
Yeah.
It's about this big.
That's not very big at all.
Yeah.
I can squish it with my hand.
It's like a gene stealer mated with a rust monster.
Let's see how big it is. You know what? It doesn't really tell me how big it is. I'm gonna say it's about the size of a German Shepherd, but of course you haven't seen these. They're just being described to you.
Right, yeah. Right. Big, nasty, sharp teeth.
So I'd mentioned before, I have the ability to change out a skill each day. So are we looking at having me take Understanding Numenera, so that when I look at the pylon, I can intuit and understand it? Is that what we're going for?
I think so, because I think because here was my thought is between my ability to do understanding, I can look at a device and give us an asset, and then if Jason if Ale is trained in knowledge of Numenera, the two he can help.
I'm trained in salvaging Numenera.
You're salvaging Numenera. So then, so if Dash takes the ability to do stuff with Numenera,
to understand Numenera, and then our skills combine.
Because Gimenez understands Numenera.
Right. Gimenez does not actually understand. I have an inability with understanding Numenera. But I have the understanding skill, which helps me look at an object and gain an asset, which I think counteracts the inability. Okay. Is that how it works?
Well, and then we can stack on the help action as well to lower the DC for each of it.
Right.
Because you'll be like the pivot piece.
Right.
I'll understand it, and you'll help me with your understanding, and then he'll salvage it, and then you'll help him salvage with your understanding. Right. Okay.
There we go. Yeah. So that we'll be helping each other that way.
This seems like a plan.
A plan.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to think within the mechanics of the game, right?
Yeah. No. I that's what I was trying to think of as well.
So
So, how
that
far away is this icy castle and quiet pylon?
about a couple hours back up the slope in a different direction to where you came from. You guys came from the east. This is south, but still, it's about a couple hours up to almost the perimeter of.
Oh, you gotta be shitting me! More fucking hills.
Hey, you guys are not being sold this job by the villagers. Like, they offered you mundane tasks, and you guys kind of sought out the one that was most dangerous. So you do not
we want the money job.
There's no money. They're not going to pay you. There's no money involved.
Yeah, but we'll get like social credit. All of them were too scared to even try this. So if we do it, we'll look like extra bamps.
All right. So if this is indeed the consensus of the council, then.
But the plan is not to get close to the nest.
We're not engaging today.
Okay. Yeah. So you guys are gonna walk up there and just scout out the ice castle.
Right. I'm gonna percept the fuck out of it. I'm gonna percept who like the guards are, the rotation, what it looks like at the doors, any entries, any like sneaky ways around. And I also have skills involving identifying, assessing danger, function, or power.
Okay.
Whatever that means.
I am trying to remember very quickly. Okay. You find the ice castle. It is, as described, this weird crystalline, like, think Christopher Reeve Fortress of Solitude, only smaller than that. Just built of ice all over. It does seem to be surrounding the entrance to a natural cave. By scouting the place out for some time, Dash, why don't you give me a perception roll, difficulty 4?
Can I assist with that?
Yes, you can. Do you have training in perception?
I do.
Then you have lowered his perception check by 2 levels, making it difficulty 2.
That's good because I rolled a 3.
Yes, but that means you failed because difficulty 2 means a check of 6. Remember, we multiply by 3. Yes, you don't see anything other than an ice castle and some movement inside.
Yeah, I'm not getting nothing. Do you want to try it? Maybe I can help you.
Yeah, Gimenez. I was going to say, Gimenez, you can roll as well, since Ale helped Dash and Dash has rolled. You have not rolled anything for perception on this ice castle.
Okay, so it would be
difficulty 4, which you can lower if you have a perception skill.
I do not.
Okay. You could also spend effort to lower it. This would be intelligence.
Oh yeah, sorry. Do we recover our might when we rest overnight?
Yeah, you already would have done that. I would say that, it's the next day, so you had 10 hours of sleep. You took an hour at dinner, so you can do 2 recovery rolls at this point.
All right. So the question is, is it 3 effort or 4 to lower? I was trying to remember the number.
You spend 3 points from your pool to lower 1 level.
Okay, but if I have an edge of 1,
then it becomes 2.
2.
Yeah.
Okay, I will do that. I will lower the edge I'll spend 2 of my intellect.
Okay, so that makes it difficulty level 3, so you have to hit or exceed 9.
All right, I shall roll, and I shall roll a 2.
I'm sorry, 12. Well, it doesn't matter.
It does matter. I fail with a 2.
My math is bad, but not so bad that I don't know a 2 fails.
Now I froze. Oh, I'm back.
Oh, I didn't know you left.
Oh.
I froze for a second. That was weird.
Yeah, I got a little beep, and then you said I'm back. All right. So you guys Other than confirming the presence of this ice castle and some motion of creatures inside, you have not learned much from your scouting trip. Are you gonna go?
Getting seashells in my eyes.
Are you gonna go straight back to the village, or are you gonna go check out that pylon?
We should go check out that pylon.
We should at least get something valuable out of today.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you find it. It's not hard to find. The crystal at the top is not glowing like the others. It's not humming like the one that you passed on your way in, and it's not warm to the touch. It is exactly what you would expect from one of these pylons if it stopped working. It looks exactly the same, but it's not doing any of the stuff.
Like, how big is it?
It is about as wide as your wrist and 100 feet tall.
Holy shit. That's a hard climb. Are any of you guys good at climbing?
No. So Gimenez is looking around. So I'm assuming that this barrier. Now, what is the field? Is there any?
The field has never been visible. The only way you can see it is by looking at the perimeter of the pylons, and there you can kind of see that the shell snow kind of tapers off in the same place all the way around, and you can see that distortion where the shell snow is being blown around in a circle, but there's not like a glowing blue force field or anything like that. So this one being down, what you do see is that the shell snow is blowing in further in this area of the valley than it is in the other areas. It's colder here. But other than that, it's just like the light's not on, it's not humming, it's not warm.
And so the crystal, and so, you know, Gimenez is kind of thinking about the possibility of, okay, where this crystal, you know, this ice castle emerged, you know, maybe there's not a coincidence, you know, it's not a coincidence that it emerged near where the barrier is weaker. So if we could somehow fix this barrier and accelerate the melting of said castle without actually having to confront these creatures directly.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you something for free here that I wouldn't give you if we weren't an hour from our ending time. What you just said is a really good thing to maybe convince the elders to try and get to try and convince the elders to let you go up to the icon. Maybe if you can succeed on some rolls and get permission. You know, this pylon was shut down when someone went in the cave, and maybe fixing it requires going back there. You were told already that the field generated by these pylon keeps large dangerous creatures out of the valley. So like you said, it's not a coincidence that this is where some large dangerous creatures have come in. If you guys, I mean, you said in advance that this was just a scouting trip. So now that you have this sort of information, you know, you might use it in that way. If your goal is to try and get these creatures out of here, turning that pylon back on might be the best way to go about it.
Yeah.
We should present our thoughts to the elders in... I forgot where I was going with that.
Well, I think the first thing is we got to make sure it doesn't sound like we're going to incite a revolution again. They didn't seem to like that for some reason. Like, who doesn't appreciate a good revolution? But maybe I can use my understanding of Numenera to make it sound like I kind of know what I'm doing. And, like, we could both, like, impress them enough with our understanding of magic that they might trust us more as knowledge sources. At least that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I guess, and I guess the question is, where are the village elders when we return? Are they all together, or are they floating around in their hover chairs separately?
I mean, yeah, they have houses. You can go visit each of them. Again, their names were stupid. Their names were Okeye, Ogram, and Thok.
Thok.
Yeah.
I guess the question is, do we ask around the village first to figure out which one may be the most amenable, like the most worry, who's the worry wart of the group?
Go ahead and give me an intelligence roll on that to see if you can sort of read anything about the villagers. We'll call this difficulty. We'll call it difficulty 4 to see if you can determine from your previous meetings which of the elders is, more of a worrywart or more prone to listening. But on difficulty 3, you can maybe glean some other information.
What's the rule of 1? Is it a DM intrusion?
Yeah, you get a GM intrusion. So you can spend your XP to stop me from doing this, or I could just ruin your life.
I would just say I'll spend an XP and to avoid the because I'm sure whatever bad thing would happen would probably send us to the wrong person. So I would wish to avoid that.
Well, what I was going to have happen was that the villagers would basically turn on you because your question asking was too obvious, and you guys were going to be driven out of the village.
Yeah, no. To accelerate. I'll spend the EXP.
Okay.
To avoid that.
Yeah. So you don't get any of that kind of information. I do suggest that you guys maybe get some new dice because I don't think anyone's rolled higher than a 4 in an hour.
Going to dice jail.
Yeah. But yeah, you don't get any information, but you also don't really piss anyone off.
Okay, I think. So I guess the question is, I'm trying to figure out there. So I have the skill community leader, which says while present in a community and actively and personally working on the behalf of it, the community's rank is +1 for all purposes. What does that mean when the rank is increased?
I don't know. This is the first I've heard that communities have ranks.
Okay.
I think I saw some stuff on that in the Destiny rulebook. Because I have a community something or another.
Yeah. This is when you're present. Yeah, so like the Delver has.
Yeah, when I'm present within a community and actively and personally working on behalf of that community, the community's effective rank for purposes of finding resources, locating new trade routes, knowing about conditions just beyond the community, and detecting sneak attacks by enemies is +1 enabler.
Yeah, rank is fully like a community thing. It has to do with a value for health and infrastructure, basically. That particular mechanic is not relevant to this situation, but we will apply it in another way because you are working on behalf of the community. So we'll say that it lowers you having that ability, which would otherwise be useless in this game, is going to lower your lower the difficulty of your conversation with the elders by another step. So the work itself has already lowered it by a step, and if you're the one that does the talking, then it's going to be lowered by another step.
Okay, so I will just pick one of the village elders at random, since I cannot tell who's a better to approach, and describe what we discovered on our reconnaissance of the ice sculpture, calming any fear that we agitated the creatures. We stayed far away, but we did discover evidence that we suspect that the creatures have intruded into their territory because of this weakness in their shield barrier, and that we would love to help and protect the village from any future more dangerous intrusions by seeing if there's a way we can help repair. and therefore, as mentioned, it seems like all of the devices, magic is coming from connected to the temple. So with great reverence to the security of the village, we humbly beseech that we help in the way that we're best suited for, which is figuring out a way to use and fix the Numenera to save the village.
Okay, before... No, never mind. Go ahead and give me a persuasion roll, which is going to be intelligence. You have lowered a difficulty... So it's difficulty 4, and you were hindered by the topic being so touchy, so it would have been difficulty 5. But it's two ranks lower, so now you're at difficulty 3.
Now, I'm also trained in persuasion. Does that help?
Yep, difficulty 2.
All right, and I am going to difficulty 2, which is, and it's a what skill? Is this intellect?
Yeah, intellect. So it'll be.
You might as well use points. We've been rolling so goddamn low. Get it as low as you can.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna burn 2 intellect points for this as well.
Okay, so difficulty 1, you just need to roll 3 or higher.
All right.
Please, for the love of God, all you need to do is roll a 3 or higher.
9. I made it. Woohoo!
All right. So after you say all this, this is what I was going to say before, but I decided I wanted the persuasion roll first. Dash and or Ale can roll another intelligence check, difficulty 4, to see if you can read something about this elder and why he's about to react the way he is.
Would perception help me with this roll?
Yes.
Okay. So that's I'm shooting for a difficulty of 12.
You've lowered a rank 4 to a rank 3, so it becomes 9. Yeah.
Okay. And this is an intellect check?
That's right.
Yeah.
Can I burn? I have edge 1 in intellect. Can I burn? That means I can burn 2 intellect pool to drop it another rank.
That's correct. You could.
I am.
Okay. So difficulty 2, which is 6 or higher.
6. Okay. Oh. 16.
Oh god. I thought it was a failure. I was like,
yeah.
So as he answers, even as he's listening, Ale, you discern something about not only this elder, but probably all of the elders. They're a little bit more rational and logical about the Numenera and what's really happening here than most of the other townspeople. The elders have been alive long enough to understand this is not a god, it's technology. And we use this idea of don't anger the icon because it's the easiest way to keep people from fucking with it. But like legitimately, they are scared that if you fuck with it, the village is gonna die. You know,
right?
Yeah,
like,
right.
But Gimenez's speech is enough to convince this guy that it might be worth it to let you try because if pylons keep going down, the village will die anyway.
Right.
So armed with that information about the elders and their sort of real beliefs, you are maybe encouraged to talk to another one of them. Convincing this one guy is not enough. You're going to need to convince at least another one in order to get permission to go up there. 2 of 3 required.
So Gimenez, it seems like the elders, they know what's up with this stuff.
Right.
Like, maybe if we just present this in a science-y sort of fashion, like it'll go down a little easier for them.
As
it'll-
long as you do it in private.
Right.
Yeah,
Because in front of
we
the
don't wanna do it
community,
around a
they
bunch
have
of
to act
people.
like priests, you know.
yeah.
Yeah. So I guess we'll go to the next one's house.
Okay.
And we will see if we can persuade. Before we do, I'll ask the one village elder if we are allowed to drop his name when talking to one of the others to potentially break the ice and let them know, like, hey, we already talked to so and so.
We just want to run it by you, though, just to make sure.
Yeah.
Mom said we could do it if you said it's okay.
No, he doesn't like that idea. He says, I do not want to use my influence. The reason that there are 3 of us is in case we is so that we can keep each other in check in case of dismal failures of the mind. If you can convince them as you have convinced me, you must do it on your own as you did with me.
Sure. Triumvirates have worked well in history, and
he says, "Yes, I thought it was a good idea too."
So again, we'll go to the next village elder, and we will not mention the previous elder, but
yeah, I think I haven't said, but you guys were speaking with Ogrim.
Ogrim.
And the next one that you find is Okaye.
Okay.
And we could say someone, we're not going to name who, we've already
Wow.
talked about, was very positive about it, but...
I remind you, only Gimenez gets that extra reduction to the roll because of his community leader skill.
Right. Please, don't add a complication.
Can I aid Gimenez by imparting some of my understanding of Numenera, so that it sounds like we at least know what we're doing?
You know what? Between that and the piece of information that Ale got, I'll say this gets lowered by another step. I don't want to go too much lower, but make it a difficulty 2. So 6 or higher. And if you want to spend anything
don't want to go too low, but seeing as how they've been rolling this night.
Yeah. You can still spend stuff to lower it.
I am going to spend 1 intellect point to use my demeanor of command.
Okay.
So that'll put me down to 12. And basically, I gain a free level of effort to 1 persuasion task.
Oh, outstanding. Yeah.
So that'll drop it another 1.
Okay. Difficulty 1. 3
right.
or higher.
Oh, roll on the 4.
Oh my goodness. Well done spending that point. Oh my gosh. I have to say I do like how this works.
Mm-hmm.
That you guys get to lower the check and you get to decide how hard it's going to be based on cost benefit. Yeah, based on cost benefit analysis. But like that was a perfect example of making a good call to lower it, because you can't control how the dice will come up, but you can control how likely it is that you're going to suck. So with Okaye, you have a similar experience. You finish speaking and she says, I see. I believe that you might be able to do some good. I have never known life outside of the valley, and I was somewhat terrified when the quiet pylon went quiet. There are people in the village who were not born yet when that pylon was last working. But my goodness, what if the next one goes down and the next one? It is a risk, to be sure, but doing nothing is also a risk.
We will do our utmost to ensure that that we will find a way to repair it.
All right. So she gives you permission. You now have agreement from two of them.
Yeah.
At least behind closed doors.
I think Jameis would think it, never want, given the fact that we have this tense situation between the reality of what these people will say in private and this facade of religion publicly, that Jameis would recommend that we convince all three, because one dissenting voice could lead to trouble.
Well, and at this point, we've talked to two, so we know what talking points are more likely to get across to them.
Right.
Because we've already experienced it with these other guys and done our trial and error with them.
And if we can get all three of their blessing.
Right.
Yeah.
And Jameis, I think, will have no compunction of, at this point, dropping the name of the other two. Let's peel away the facade. We have already talked to your two compatriots and lay it out. We feel that we are the best suited to help this potential long-term threat to the security of your village. Please let us help, and but we would not want to put you into a dangerous position. So we would love to have a unanimous decision. So therefore, we would love for you to agree with your two colleagues.
After all of that and dropping both of their names and everything else you've learned, rolling to convince Thok is going to be difficulty 1.
All right, which is a 3 or higher.
Yep.
Just to, what, I'm going to burn the extra point, and just to ensure automatic success.
Done.
Yeah.
So
I don't trust my fucking time.
So Thok nods kind of grimly, and he says, "I understand your reasoning. And while I'm not comfortable with it, I will not go against my fellow elders. However, it is important that we continue to remind the villagers that what you are doing is dangerous and ill-advised. We will allow you to go. We will instruct them not to stop you. But we must make a show of how ill-advised your actions are. You will go with our permission, but not with our endorsement."
Fine. If that's how you need to sell it to your people, then I think we can oblige.
And I've got some experience playing the bad guy.
Yeah.
I'm sure you do.
All I would require, if you have available, would be some sort of cold weather gear, in case somehow when we get down into the caves.
Just a retcon. They've already given you furs and stuff. You guys did that trip earlier to go up to the ice castle. They would have given you furs, no problem.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure that if we get outside whatever barrier, we're not underground and cold.
Yeah, and to be clear, it's at the edge, but it is inside.
Okay.
Yeah. So Thok does as he said he would. All three of the elders get together and announce to the villagers that they have decided to allow you to go pay your respects to the icon. They actually don't say that you're going in. They just say that these foolish travelers have gone to pay respects to the icon. They've been warned. Thok is actually going to go with you to the warship site. This is all a show to keep the villagers from asking questions and so forth. But you guys head out up this path that is leading to the icon. Thok does travel with you in his little floating Baron Harkonnen chair. And you guys, it's like, 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 you guys, it's it's like a switchback path up the side of the hill on the north. All along the edges of it are offerings of like food and little carvings and just things that the villagers have left. There are more of them as you go along. It kind of seems like people get to a certain distance and then they chicken out and they leave stuff as offerings. And just before the path kind of becomes sort of a jagged mess of switchbacks, there's this little pile of flat stones, which each has like a warning inscribed on it in the truth. It says, come no closer, turn back, do not approach. And this is as far as Thoke is going to go. He says, be careful not to break anything. Our lives depend upon it.
Trust us.
Either we'll succeed or we'll die, so your life won't be the same either way.
I already regret this. All right, so yeah, you guys continue up this path until you reach the base of the icon. Let me put that picture back up. There he is.
Yeah.
So that is a little opening there at the base where the blue glow ends. And there's a path leading up. Let me find, wait, where's the opening of it in the text? Let me read. Okay, so yeah, there's it's about a 15-foot high cave entrance that you approach as you walk up this sort of jagged switchback. The cave entrance is diamond shaped, and the blue crystal that extends down the icon all the way down the center of its body also continues in the cave. It becomes like a ceiling light down through the cave. So because of that glow, it's almost as bright as daylight in here, and you see a floor that has been carved smooth, very precisely, sharp edges at the corners, and a set of stairs leading downward. There is a small amount of the shell snow and dirt and other debris that's kind of accumulated in the edges of the stairs, but it doesn't look like anyone's been down here in a while. Yeah. So as you get to the opening of the cave, are you guys going to go in, or do you want to do anything else first?
So I like kind of blanked. Like, how big is this thing?
The statue itself is about 40 feet tall.
Okay.
And the cave opening is about 15 feet.
Okay. And it basically just goes in and down?
That's right.
Gimenez just looks at the two of them and says, well, after you, gentlemen.
Oh, now he wants to wait for us.
Yeah, I'll take point.
All right.
Ale's going to start heading down.
I open up my vest and I'm like, all right, Barfy, come on, it's adventure time. We're going out. And you see, like, this little, like, cat-sized, like, furry dude, like, kind of slide out of my pocket and, like, shake off like an animal that's just woken up. And he pulls out this little tiny bowcaster and he goes, just like that. And we move onward into the cave.
Yes. So, Ale, around the time you reach the top of the staircase, just a few steps after entering through the cave mouth, the ceiling light begins to start strobing in an irregular pattern. And I will need all of you to make an intellect defense roll. This is at level 8.
Oh, no.
Oh.
which makes it 23 or 24.
All right. So I have intellect defense tasks trained.
I'm trained in defense rolls to resist mental attacks.
Okay, so you can both lower it by 1 step, making it 21 for you automatically.
and therefore
slightly less impossible.
Because what happened? I guess if you roll a 20, then you can go above.
But only if you use your points to lower it, right?
Yeah, I was just wondering, like, if one introduces a GM intrusion, is that where like a 20 does the opposite?
There is such a thing as player intrusion, but to be honest, I didn't read much of the player-facing parts.
Here it goes. It says when you roll a natural 20, the roll is a success. You also have a major effect. And that's where in your character status there's major and minor effects in certain places. I was trying to figure out whether that was. So major effect in combat, it means 4 more points of damage. Outside, it means a beneficial thing happens, like climb faster. When a roll grants you a major effect, you can choose to use a minor effect instead if you prefer. Okay, so where does the minor effects come in otherwise?
Well, why don't you see if you roll a 20 before we spend a bunch of time reading that?
Yeah, no. I'm gonna burn intellect point then as well, or 2, right? That would drop it 2 ranks.
Yeah, you drop it. Well, it's dropped 1 because of your ability, and then it's dropped. Burning 2 points drops it another one to 18.
Yeah. It's better than nothing. I'll give it a try.
Better than impossible.
Yeah, I can roll my D30, right, for that one.
you can if you don't tell me about it.
Oh, okay. I gotta. All right. Yeah, it doesn't help. 13.
Nope. Dash, you fail as well.
I don't have anything else that can reduce it. No.
Okay.
I mean, I guess I could use intellect points, but that would still make it like 19, right?
It would make it. You could get it to 18 because it's 24. You could, and it drops to 21 for you, and then you could make it 18 if you spend points.
Okay, so it would cost me 3 intellect points?
Yes.
To reduce it by 1 level? Okay.
I figured it out. 19 gets you a minor effect. 20 gets you a major effect.
I got a 10.
Okay, and Ale, you don't have anything that can lower it below 20, do you?
I mean, I could burn like 8 intellect points.
Actually, you can't. You have.
No, because I can burn the 2. Yeah, no, I rolled a 5 anyway.
Okay. Yeah. I was gonna say, the number of levels of effort you can expend is limited.
Yeah.
And since you guys are tier 1, it's only 1.
Yeah.
So you've all failed, and you are all stunned for 1 round. This light comes on, it stuns you. You're not currently in combat, so it doesn't harm you to be stunned for 1 round. But yeah, you are all stopped for like a few seconds, like hypnotized or dazed by this weird flashing light.
We don't want that to happen during combat.
Yeah. Now, as I described, the light on the ceiling, it does get dimmer the farther in you go. So it seems like maybe if you're not up here by the entrance, you might not get stunned.
Yeah,
This just keeps getting better and better.
I blink them spots out of my eyes and just keep going down.
Alrighty. The stairs continue downwards a short distance, and then they open up into a larger cave, which I went to incarnate and made a map of because it didn't come in the adventure. It was thoroughly described, but they didn't actually provide a map. So I made this map. What you see in here, it's roughly circular cave. about 100 feet in diameter. The ceiling light is ending just past the end of the stairs. So that's why there's like a glow around where the bottom of the stairs are, and it gets darker the further away from the stairs you get. You see some bronzy metal domes, kind of like the ones the villagers lived in, dotting the room. Yeah, that is what you find here.
Do any of them look different in a way that would indicate malfunctioning? Maybe like black burnt out spots, or like smoking or not making a noise the other ones are making, or anything like that?
Nothing like that. You do see that Dome 2 is larger than the others by about 50%, and Dome 3 is smaller than the others by about 50%. Other than that, you don't see much difference between them. Some have open doors, some have closed doors. That's all you can gather from the stairway.
Can we see inside any of the doors?
Not from here.
Yeah. Looking at. Okay. Well, I guess we should. What do you think? Check out the one closest to us, which would be number 5.
Yeah, I think whichever one is open, we should probably look at first. Is number 5 open?
Yeah. Well, it's not. The door isn't open, but you could walk up and open it.
It's gone so well for us so far.
Right. What do you think, Ale? Should we open one of these bad boys up?
Yeah, Ale walks up and opens up Dome 5.
Cool. This thing flies at you. A whole bunch of them. They come flying down from the ceiling of the cave as soon as you step off the stairs, and they demand that you roll initiative.
How do we do that?
Oh, I looked it up and I've forgotten already. Let me see. Okay, combat.
Initiative. Nope, not glossary.
Let's see.
Okay, around about determine who goes first. Everyone make a speed roll.
Okay.
Is this versus a specific difficulty?
No. The only reason that I cite speed roll is in case you want to spend pool points or what. Well, no, spending points doesn't matter if there's no difficulty.
Yeah, how would like?
Oh, I see. You're rolling
pools
against. You are rolling against the creature's speed. So let me look up what that is. Makes a speed roll higher or lower than an NPC's target number. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. Okay, yeah. Gazer's target number is 3. With level 1, target number 3. So you are rolling speed against level 1.
All right.
So if I'm trained in initiative,
that means you automatically go before the gazer.
But I still want to check to see if I'm going before Gimenez or Dash.
If you wish. Yeah, that's otherwise we can just decide it. But the most important thing is who's going before the enemy and who's going after.
Yeah, I rolled a 4.
God fucking damn it!
Did you roll?
That's beautiful.
I
rolled a 2.
Boy, that still automatically beats difficulty 0.
Yeah.
But Gimenez, I didn't hear yours. Did you say 4 or 14?
14.
Okay,
Nice.
and Dash?
I got 13.
Okay, so our order is going to be Gimenez, Dash, Ale, robots.
All right, and you said they come down and they were asking us what we were doing there?
No, they didn't speak. I was just being silly. They fly down from the ceiling in a group of 10, and they are a swarm, and they're coming at you.
All right, I shall draw my rapier and stab the nearest one in its little lasery eye thingy.
Okay. I guess, let's see.
Yeah,
go
because
ahead
if Ale
and do
went
that.
first, then he's probably like off the stairs, but the rest of us probably haven't had a chance to get off the stairs yet.
That's right. So yeah, go ahead and make an attack roll.
Okay.
Wait, you don't roll for attack, you roll for defense, don't you?
You roll both.
Yeah.
It's all player facing.
Yeah, I roll nothing ever. I don't even have dice here. I mean, I do, but they're under the desk. Yeah, so roll that against the target of 1, I guess.
Oh, the damage isn't rolled. The damage is flat, but the attack is rolled. Okay.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a light weapon which says attack is eased. Does that mean it goes down 1 difficulty rating?
Oh wow. I hope I'm doing this right, but yeah, I think that does mean that.
All right, so I hit and do 2 damage.
Okay. Yeah, you hit. You do 2 damage, and you harmed one of them.
Yeah, I'm gonna see. Like, even if you, when do you roll? Okay. GM assigns a difficulty. You roll against the associated number. All right. And negate the need for a roll. Okay. If there is no roll, there's no chance of failure, but there's no chance of remarkable success. So that's the downside. So basically, you don't get if you don't roll, then you don't get a chance of getting a 19 or a 20.
Right.
So I do, I jump out and I stab one and do 2 damage.
Okay. You do 2 damage. That one looks severely damaged. Dash, your turn.
All right. I unholster my blaster and I'm like, this is where the fun begins. Take a shot and I move back up the stairs to try to get out of their engagement zone.
Okay.
So what's the DC again?
Level 1. So
okay.
Target.
And I'm rolling 3. A D20, right?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. 15. There we go. Starting to get some teen rolls now.
Oh, I'm sorry. What did you roll?
15.
Oh yeah, you got him. Did you shoot the same one Gimenez stabbed, or did you aim for another one?
I was going for the same one that Gimenez stabbed.
Okay. You've killed it, and I'm going to do a GM intrusion here.
Okay.
When you kill this gazer, it explodes. All the other gazers around it sort of spin away to safety, but it's going to do 5 damage to the rest of you.
Wait, the rest of me? I moved away, though.
You said you moved away after you shot it. You don't have time to move out of range before it explodes.
Well, I guess I don't know how much Gimenez moved to approach it. Was it, like, at the base of the stairs?
Yeah, Gimenez stabbed it. It was in range of the sword.
Okay, so he didn't move it. Okay.
All right.
You do have the option of spending the XP I gave you to stop the intrusion, or you can just let the 5 damage happen.
Well, I'm out of XP, so it has to be somebody else.
It has to be Trappy that does it, because this GM intrusion is targeted at him.
Hang on. So I have Fleet of Foot. Okay. You can move a short distance as part of another action, including the attack action.
Okay.
For the cost of 1 speed point. So would I be able to use that?
You could, but Gimenez and Ale would still be hurt by the explosion. For 5.
Those are okay, right? Well, I mean, the thing is like, I'm trying to pull a 2-player sway, because he said if I don't use an XP on a DM incursion, then I get 2 XP. So I'm like, Okay, well, if I could pull a 2-player sway right now and like get 3 XP, then I'd be able to like totally set us up for the rest of the campaign, right?
Yes, our campaign that lasts another 22 minutes.
All right, fine. I'll use my beloved XP to save you guys.
I mean, you can let Ale die. It's fine.
Why would he die? He's probably got more than 5 hit points. He's the front liner.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are not even inhibited until 2 of your stat pools are at 0, so it's really not that big a deal.
All right, you're selling me back. I'll keep the...
Hey, I'm on both sides of the issue.
No, I'll use the XP and I'll save everybody from the explosion.
Okay, so it's about to explode, but you just kind of go, and it doesn't, and it just falls to the ground, sparking. Yeah. So Ale, it is now your turn.
And there's 9 more of them?
There are 9 more of them.
Oh, shit. Because they're all gonna... Yeah.
So can I try and maneuver around, let's say, counterclockwise around this chamber in an attempt to like lead some of these things away from my friends?
Absolutely.
Can I do that and attack one of them?
Yeah, you can move and then attack. Yeah.
Okay, so I want to move. I want to move like kind of counterclockwise around the chamber, towards dome. I think it was number 1.
Yeah. Let me pull down the gazer image so you can see a little better.
Yeah, going between like 4 and 1.
Okay.
And like I'm trying to get a line on like one of them because I want to give it a good smack with my techno mace, and I want to try and hurt it and knock it towards some of its fellows.
Okay, sounds like a plan. So the way these things work is that they can attack in swarms, and the smallest a swarm can be is 3. So with 1 dead, there are 9 left. 3 of them are going to follow you, Ale, and the other 6 will stay. So basically, 1 swarm is going after Ale, and the other 2 swarms are going for Gimenez and Dash. Yeah, so you run up there, you get, like you said, kind of around where 1 and 4 is before stopping, spinning back, which puts you right in front of this gazer that was chasing you, and take a swing, yeah.
Is this a might check?
It's just an attack roll against, I think it's just a d20 against the target number. Hold on. Attack is... Stabby stab time, yes. Simplest kind of attack, such as a peachy trying to stab a bandit. Player rolls and compares the result against an opponent's target number. I'm going to say, yeah, it's got to be might. You're swinging a big club thing, right?
That was my assumption.
Attacks? It can be might or speed, player choice.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah, because I got lots of speed.
But again, these things are only rank 1, so you just need to hit 3 or higher.
Yeah. So I got a 12.
Great,
and
you hit it.
With my techno mace, that is 4 damage.
Boom, you've killed 1. 2 down. The ones that are after you, Ale, can no longer be considered a swarm. There's only 2 of them.
Yay.
That's good for you. They haven't attacked yet, but you're about to see that when they attack as a swarm, they attack as a single level 3 creature, which deals 4 points of damage instead of the 1 that they normally, or the 3 that they normally do. Jeez. But also they can still hurt you even on a miss when they attack as a swarm.
What?
Yeah, so the first swarm is going to shoot at Gimenez, the first one that attacked any of them. So you need to roll a defense roll.
All right. What's the defense roll?
It's still level 1.
Oh. Okay, well then I will hide behind my shield, which is an asset.
And lower it to 0?
Yeah.
Okay, then you are still gonna... They'll miss, and you're still gonna take 1 point of damage, because only 2 of them miss and 1 of them grazes you. If you have armor that can reduce the damage.
I do... Well...
The shield probably counts as armor? I don't know.
Well, I have trained without armor, which is trained in speed defense actions. So, but I guess I've already reduced it down to 0, so I can't reduce it anymore. So I guess I still take the 1 damage.
Right. Armor works by soaking damage. If you had armor, it would do that.
Right. Gotcha.
But if you don't, then yeah, you take a point of damage.
All right.
Okay. The second swarm is going to attack Dash Rindar. They are following you up the stairs.
But I thought you said there had to be 3 in a swarm, and there's only 4 of us. So either there was a swarm that attacked him or a swarm that attacked me?
There were 10.
No, there's 2 swarms on both of you.
There were 10 originally. You and Gimenez killed one in your first turns. Ale ran away. 3 of them went after him. 3 formed another swarm and just attacked Gimenez. 3 left are a third swarm and attacking you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right, so roll a defense roll, level 1.
All right, I got a 7.
All right, you also managed to dodge out of the way, but take a point of damage anyway because there's 3 beams coming at you, and it's impossible to completely get missed by all of them.
Aha! But I have an armor of 1.
Then you have not taken damage, sir.
My
very well
deflecting, very powerful.
Very well dashed. Gimenez, your turn.
Yeah, so Gimenez will... but the problem is there was an explosion, right? So...
Yeah, but only when I did it. It didn't explode when
Ale killed one and it didn't explode.
Oh, interesting.
And also, actually, the one that Dash killed didn't explode either because he spent that XP to stop the intrusion.
True. Oh, so we didn't.
It looked for a second like it was going to explode, but it didn't. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll stab at one of the ones. The one of the swarm that shot me. I will try and hit it out of the air with my saber, my rapier. But you said it's a challenge of only 1 to hit it?
That's correct.
And I have an eased attack, so I automatically hit it for 2 damage, basically.
Okay. That does not kill it, but
nope.
it's injured. Would you like to move at all?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and run. So they came out when we opened the number 5 room, so I'm gonna see if I can run in. And
correction.
No, they came out when we stepped into this.
That's right.
Yeah, as soon as someone stepped off the stairs. Yeah, you guys have not reached the number 5 room. As soon as Ale stepped off the stairs, they came down from the ceiling.
Yeah, I'll run towards number 5 just to see if I can get to cover.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to get over there. Dash Rindar, you're a little bit up the stairs, and you have another swarm on you.
Are there such things as opportunity attacks?
Maybe. We're not going to use them.
Oh, okay. I was like, do I just have to find out? All right, no. So, I'm seeing everybody else kind of split up and separate. Okay. So I want to move back down the stairs and try to move towards 3. And I want to use my fleet of foot appropriately this time. It says you can move a long distance as your entire action for a turn. If you apply a level of effort to this ability, you can move a long distance and make an attack.
Fantastic.
As your entire action for a turn.
Okay.
So I want to use, I believe that equates to 2 speed points, right? Because it's base, and then you use an effort, and it becomes 2 fleet speed points total. So I'll be able to move and shoot the one that Gimenez did half damage to.
Okay. Sounds good to me. And
I mean,
yeah,
I can't take him home with me.
yeah. So being able to move a long distance will allow you to get anywhere in this chamber. You want to get behind 3 and hide there.
Yeah, kind of between 2 and 3.
Okay.
I was about to ping it, and then I'm like, you wouldn't be able to see that. And I was, okay.
Yeah. Someday maybe we'll use a virtual tabletop, but I'm too good for it.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna roll the attack roll against the one that Gimenez shot already, and hit a 17.
Okay. And what's the damage on your weapon?
Pew pew, 2 damage.
Is Barfy gonna attack?
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot to do him last turn, but we'll just have him add on the initiative after me. Go, Barfy!
Is he with you, or is he gonna stay or
He's
go
with
another
me,
direction?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's with me. He hits a 2. He does 1 damage.
Okay, so the one that you already shot is gone.
Yeah, so he probably shoot one of the ones that was chasing us.
Okay, but he rolled a 2?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then he doesn't hit. You need a 3 or higher.
Barfy, I told you got to practice with that bowcaster more.
But you guys have reduced this mass of gazers from 10 to 7 already. Ale, it is your turn. You are now facing 2, which no longer counts as a swarm.
Quick question.
Yeah.
I mean, not to stick my foot in it a bit, but did either of these things attack me?
No, they didn't. They were probably confused.
Oh, okay.
I was so excited to use the swarm attack on those guys, I forgot to attack you two.
Well, since they're that confused, I'm going to try and knock another one of them out.
Go for it.
I got a 5.
That actually hits, because these guys are weak as hell. And I know that your damage on that thing is going to kill it, so you are down to just one of these things. And this time it is going to attack you. Roll a defense roll, please. Difficulty 1.
I got a 2.
You have not succeeded. You take 3 damage as this thing laser beams you, or gazer beams you.
So what does that damage come off of?
Might.
Okay.
Are you wearing armor?
I am.
Your armor value reduces the damage.
Yes, it does.
All right. How much armor do you have?
2.
Oh,
I
nice.
took some micro mesh armor.
Nice.
Okay. And you know what?
No.
These things have a point of armor. I should have been subtracting. 2 of the 4 you've killed should still be alive, but we're not going to worry about it. Keep moving forward. So yeah,
Is
one
that
of
the 2 that I've been attacking?
the 2 that you attacked would still be dead, even with the point of armor.
Okay.
So the 2 that you killed it would still be dead. The other 2 would still be alive. No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't.
Yeah.
What Dash? What does your weapon do?
2.
So 2 from you, 2 from Gimenez. Actually, yeah, they would still be alive because they have 3 points. They would have only taken 1 point from each of you, and they'd both still have a point left. Yeah. But again, we're just going to keep moving forward. Forget it. Those 2 didn't have any armor. They were fucked up. They're very old.
Models.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so there are now 5 of them that were split between Gimenez and Dash. So they're actually going to form up into one big swarm, and they're all going to shoot at... they're going to shoot at Gimenez, because Gimenez is the closer.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I have to roll challenge 1, but I have my shield, so it goes to 0, so I still just take the 1 damage, right?
That's right.
All right, so I'm down to 6. So I'm like, trying to block as many of these incoming laser blasts with my shield, but still take a hit. God damn it!
Yeah, it's your turn now, though.
All right. And as flinching from the whichever one hit him, he's gonna reach out and stab the one that got him. But so I'll do 2 damage, but reduced by 1, so I only do 1 damage to it.
Copy that. And Dash Rendar. You're muted, sir.
Not to be outdone, I roll a 1 on the dice, causing an impressive failure.
Oh, no.
And yet, your odd companion, Barfy.
Well, I mean, I don't think he can actually damage because he only does 1 damage. So even if he hits, it would just like dink, be blocked by their armor.
Unless you rolled the 19 or 20, those would do extra damage.
I rolled the 9.
Yeah.
All right, so it does indeed go dink. Ale.
Little buddy.
Yeah. He goes.
Yeah, there's just one left on me. I'm gonna have a smack at that one.
Go for it. Did
I
you
got a 19.
Okay.
So wait.
So in combat, when you roll a 19,
So can I use this minor effects suggestion under my focus?
yeah,
Where my feat of destruction thrills me, and I gain an asset to speed defense tasks until my next action.
Yes.
yep.
I don't think that's going to do anything for me, but
Yeah, it really won't.
yeah.
Well, it says so here's the rules. If you roll a 19 in combat, a minor effect or whatever, basically the bonus you get is you could take that bonus or you could take 3 extra points of damage.
Yeah, so the 3 extra points of damage don't matter because you've killed it anyway.
Okay.
And the minor effect that you have available also doesn't matter because they're not going to be attacking you right now.
Yeah.
They've all swarmed up on Gimenez and are close to Dash. But well done.
Yeah, but I'm really thrilled about it. I'm feeling good.
I'm going to say you hit this thing so hard that even with your, what is a mace, you said? A power mace?
So imagine pre-Trapjaw from the new CG He-Man series.
Understood, yeah. So you smash this thing, and you smash it in such a way that your mace actually goes all the way through the middle of it, breaking it into 2, as though it were a bladed weapon, but it's actually just smashing right through. And the 2 halves of it fall to the ground. And I'm going to say, since you failed to gain any other benefit from that attack, you find a random cipher, which you can look up a table for that in the book and roll on it. You find a random cipher in that sphere.
Okay.
Now, the 5... are going to split up. 2 are going to go after Dash. 3 are going to attack Gimenez as a swarm. Please roll defense. But you already know how to do that. You just take the 1. They are shooting at you. The 2 others are coming after Dash, and they are going to attack separately. So, Dash, you roll defense
18?
on each of them. Yeah, you defended.
Okay. And 17.
Your armor soaks both of them.
Sweet.
Wait. I'm sorry. When they attack separately, this is different. You don't have to soak the armor because they're attacking separately. They don't get the auto hit.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's the benefit of the swarm from my perspective. They auto hit even if you succeed, but they get more possible attacks if they attack separately. So, it's your turn now, Gimenez.
You know what? I'm gonna opt. I think I don't have. My guess is I don't have to use the ease, and if I decide to roll, right? So I just have to roll higher than a 3. So at least it would. Because here's the thing. I was reading the combat rules. So if you roll a 17, you get 1 extra damage, and 18, 2.
Yeah.
So there's an advantage to roll. There's a increased chance of more damage. So
that's correct.
To make up for the potential for failure. So I rolled a 13, so no, just normal success, so I do 1 point of damage.
All right, I'm going to cross off 1 more point of damage on the same one that you attacked before, because I'm assuming you're doing it the smart way. Yep. Dash Rendar, kill something.
Or I have a cipher called Machine Control Implant.
Okay.
I'll tell you what I'm thinking. Pull out this little remote control from my pocket, and I turn one of the little robots against his little friend to try to make him attack him with my cipher. Would that be something that you think would work?
I'd say you gotta roll for it. Intellect.
All right. What is the DC?
It's gonna be the target number of the creature, which is still 1. But I'm actually doing a search. Machine Control Implant. I'm going to read the rules. I kind of made that up.
It's on...
It splits into 2 pieces. One is affixed to a Numenera device and the other to the character. The character can then use their mind, bidding it to do anything it could do. Thus, the device can be activated or deactivated. Yeah, it works exactly like we said. You activate it, it splits in 2. One half stays with you, and the other half goes and attaches to one of these spheres. So this is the only sphere you'll be able to use this on, but you have control of it for 10 minutes.
All right, I'm going to make it turn against its friends. I know it probably can't do enough damage to get through the armor, but it's still hilarious, and I can't take the ciphers home with me, so let's do it.
Okay, then it's going to... Okay.
Can you roll something?
I need like I said, all the dice are supposed to be on your side, so I'm actually going to make you roll defense for the gazer that it attacks.
Okay.
So yeah, roll. Roll against a 1.
All right, a 7.
The gazer that it attacks does manage to defend by getting out of the way. And then what about Barfy? He could still roll a crit.
All right, Barfy, time to crit. 15, so close.
No.
Dink. So the gazer that was attacked by your gazer is going to turn at it and shoot back. And I assume the one that you had it attack was the same one that Gimenez took a stab at.
Can I do something?
Did I skip you?
Yeah.
I apologize. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, because we had one of them attack, and then you went right into their attack.
Yep, I absolutely did that. Go ahead.
So, Gimenez is around Dome 5?
Correct.
Yeah, Gimenez is around 5, and Dash is around 3.
Okay, and they each have 2 on them?
At this point, Gimenez still has 3 on him, but one of them is under Dash's control. Or, no, I guess the one you controlled would have been one of the ones that came after you.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, Gimenez still has 3, but one of them is hurt. And then Dash has 2, but one of them's controlled.
So I'm going to charge up on one of the undamaged ones that Gimenez is fighting, or Gimenez is engaged with.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna shout, "Techno Barbarian, what?" And I get a 3.
That's a hit, sir.
Still hits.
4 damage, -1, 3 damage.
Kablam! What gazer was that? Nothing. Yeah. You guys are down to 4 gazers, one of which is controlled and one of which is hurt. So now I'll say Dash, the one that is still hostile to you is going to turn and attack the one that you are controlling. So please roll a defense for your gazer.
Oh, a 9.
It zips out of the way. And then Gimenez, you still have 3, so they are going to swarm attack you.
No, shouldn't Gimenez only have 2?
That's correct.
Yeah,
then they are going
killed
to
one.
then they are going to both attack you one at a time. Roll 2 defense rolls, please.
all right. But it's
Actually, I'm gonna shoot one of them at Ale. So you just roll one defense roll.
all right, but it's a rank of 1, so my shield asset would
Yeah.
right.
Make it.
Is that
Yeah.
how?
Yeah.
I got a 10.
Yeah.
Okay, so neither of you are hit. And their turn is over. Jameis, it's your turn again.
All right, I'll stab the one that's one of the ones that's shooting me, and a 13. So I'll do 1 point of damage to it with its armor.
Yeah, you do indeed, and that one only had 1 point left, so it is gone as well. And Dash Rendar, you're up.
All right. I'm looking at my blaster and it's not doing enough. It looks like we're gonna have to bust out the long gun. So I bust out my medium-sized long gun.
Okay.
Aim it down. And let's hit above a 1, guys. Hey, 11.
Okay.
So that does 4 damage. It's a medium weapon.
I assume you're shooting at the one that is near you and still hostile.
Yeah, because I want to keep the other one as a friend.
All right, there are 2 gazers left, and one of them's yours.
Hooray!
The other one is over by Jameis. Ale, it's your turn.
Yeah, let's
hang
attack
on,
that
hang
one
on,
that's
Barfy,
over by
Barfy.
Gimenez.
Do this.
See if you
Get
can roll
17,
a
Barfy.
3 or higher.
Oh no.
Okay, it's going to turn
into... Oh no, baby. Oh no. Not only do I destroy this thing, I get a major effect.
Okay.
Because I rolled a nat 20, baby.
Yes.
The first one of the night at the end of the stream.
What's your major effect?
Not only do I destroy it, but I knock it to its feet and it loses its next action.
Not only that.
This shoddy craftsmanship brings shame to all hedgehog kind.
Dash Rendar, you have slightly less than 10 minutes to be in control of this last gazer. What are you going to do? It's the only one left.
Interesting. Okay, but I have complete and total control over it?
Yeah, it can do anything that it normally could do, which is float around and shoot stuff.
All right, but it can't repair or diagnostic any systems?
No.
All right. I'm going to have it fly around and chase Barfy for a little bit, but not like actually shoot him, just like chase him like pew, 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 pew. And he's like, this is like, because it's all mean. And then once it's close to getting away, like once it's almost out of juice, I like send it far out of the temple, so it has to come back and find us again.
Okay. Yeah, so
while you're doing that, I want, like, Ale wants to get a better look at these domes.
Here's what
what's up with these things?
Here's what you find out. Like I said, some of them can be entered, others cannot. Dome 5, which is where you are, that one, you can't get the door to open. You put your hand on the little circular panel just like in the village, but nothing happens. Dome 1, off in the side where you originally ran, when you open the door, there are like a blue hologram-like screen appears with diagrams and strange writing. You guys, you're now safe in here, and you are free to investigate at your leisure. I'm gonna rush through some of it real quick since we're running late. Dome 1 is a navigation dome. There is something going on here that it's some kind. I'm just going to assume that you spend enough time to eventually successfully roll understanding. It's some kind of navigational tool or tracking system. And then Dome 2 is geothermal power. Inside here, when you open it, it's very warm inside. Spending 10 minutes inside is going to damage you from heat. But you are able to see that like I said, it's geothermal power. Somehow this dome is converting power from the ground into what the rest of the mechanism is using.
All right, which dome turns it into a giant mecha that we could pilot around?
Maybe one of the sealed ones. Dome 3 is a historical archive, which you'd have to roll to access any of these and like make them do stuff. But Dome 4 is a dimensional field regulator, and also there is a dead human body dressed in explorer's clothing inside Dome 4. Its flesh is withered away, and the air is really dry, so it looks like it's been kind of mummified. Now, all of these domes have these like Iron Man type blue holographic interfaces written in an alien language. You're not able to determine what killed this person, but you are able to determine that with some successful salvage rolls, you might be able to get some useful components out of these domes. That is domes 1 through
4?
1 through 3.
Oh, okay.
The rest of the domes, 5, 6, and 7, you can't get into.
Do we find a pylon management dome?
I'm thinking that's number 4, right? Because
yeah, we definitely pull this guy's body out.
I'll tell you what. Roll me an understanding with a difficulty of Jeez, I had it. Where'd it go? Oh, it's on another page. It's really obnoxious that they put it way back at the beginning. Oh gosh, sorry. Okay, yeah. It's difficulty 5 to understand how they work and what you can do with them.
Okay, but I am skilled in understanding Numenera because of my special skill for today.
So that makes it 4. So you need 12 or higher.
And then I'm going to use points because I've been rolling terrible today. How much would that be?
You have no edge in intellect, so it would be 3 points to lower it another from 3 to 2, or from 4 to 3.
All right, fuck it. Who needs id points anyway? Okay. One last thing I have. It's the end. It's a. Well, I don't know what it is. I've just always found it kind of lucky. It's an oddity, and I want to try to see if I can like interface into the control panel and try to translate or otherwise figure out how to make the interface more adaptable to my current understanding.
So that'll lower it another level.
Sweet. All right. You would think I would be able to do that based on statistics, but let's see what I roll.
Yeah, it is 6 or higher now.
I got an 8.
All right. So here's what you understand. This was just an understanding roll. You want the power dome. Dome number 2, geothermal power. If you get a successful roll in there specifically, you'll take a point of damage from having to spend the time, but you've already passed the understanding roll. You can now spend another 10 minutes accessing information. So you will take a point of might damage for having to be in the heat, but you are able to reroute power to the dead pylon. You see in the
the village?
Bardock.
There you go.
You see
Bardock?
Is it Bardock or Bardak? Let me see. It's Bardak, yeah.
Bardak, your saviors has arrived. We come down with rampant fanfare after we fix it.
Yeah, so you see all the pylons in the hologram, and like one of them is blinking red, and you do some shit over the course of 10 minutes, and it powers up again. I'm gonna ask for anyone else other than Dash Rendar to roll an understanding roll of the general room here, of the domes that you've opened.
Well, if I study it, see, I get for 1 intellect point, which I will burn. I will get an automatic asset, so reduction of 1. So what's the difficulty rating?
The difficulty's 5, so you've reduced it to 4.
Yeah, and the difficulty 4 is a 12. And then I will burn 2 more intellect points, go down to 6.
Okay.
So that'll be a difficulty rating of 3, which is a 9 or above.
Yep.
All right, come on. Ooh, 18.
You, looking at these domes and the components therein, there are sockets and fixtures here that match the specifications of some of the exposed sockets you saw way back at the beginning when you teleported into that room. You believe you could take something from the navigation dome, something from the power dome, and something from the archive to help you restore the original dome, the original building you landed in, for a one-time teleport back where you came from.
So we
how
just
many
need to
people would be able to go
salvage
on that
like
teleport?
3 things.
You just need to salvage 3 things. I'm going to say, I'm not going to make you roll it. I'm going to say that roll was sufficient, that you guys can spend time and get it done. We're late here, but normally it would be individual rolls, but I feel like that's kind of silly at this point. You guys did the hard thing, which was figuring everything out, and just doing rolls to see if you die in the mountains or not is kind of silly.
It's to see if we can teleport back, or if we're going to have an adventure to get back.
Exactly. And since we're not doing the adventure anyway, you guys managed to teleport back. You are hailed as heroes if you return to the village on your way. You have restored power to the pylon. There were some risks involved with those salvage rolls that you might have damaged the village more if you tried to do too much. But just getting the components to get the teleport working does not hamper the village at all. You've restored power to their pylon. They give you lots of blue fruits and some eggs, and they ask you to stay. If you choose not to, you're able to go up and bamf yourselves right back where you came from.
That sounds good.
And I will give them some written instructions of how to use the equipment.
That sounds good too.
I'll tell them it was all part of a secret alien plan to harvest their souls.
They believe Dash. The villagers believe Dash.
I would never lie.
The elders take Gimenez's instructions. The villagers believe Dash.
Oh, these poor people.
What do you guys think of the system now that we've played it?
I got used to it. I think it would be helpful if I looked more at the book and figured out. And I think this is always the hard part, right? Like level 1 characters, like even in D&D, it's kind of like I think the real power would come in when you can actually do like, hey, can I take more than 1 level of effort? Because then you're really calculating. It's like, I really need to succeed here, but it's going to cost me 7 effort to do it, right? And
but at the same time, like, I appreciate level 1 being approachable, because while I do want to do more, I don't know how much more I could handle. And it's funny, like, I feel now I could probably play the game. Like, up until now, I was like, but right now I'm like, I could probably do this.
I don't hate it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's something I would pick up for myself. It's definitely, I don't think it's something I'd run, but I'd play it.
Yeah, I was saying, I think you might have stepped away, Jason, but I was saying to these guys, I kind of had the opposite reaction to it from what you had in the prep time. I picked this up really easy. I felt like, especially compared to some of our other games. When I was reading it, like the concept of I just give you a target number, you guys raise and lower it, was something I got my.
It's very Merkborg like that.
Yeah, and
there's just for me it's more just all the little like fiddly like, oh, you have this ability and you have this ability, which wouldn't be bad, except I don't find them like my initial read on them was just really like I could not understand them to save my life.
Fair enough.
And it really took getting into it and listening to what everyone else was doing to start to get an idea of what I could do with what I was told I had.
I'll tell you my favorite parts after having played it. My favorite part already was the world and the setting. I think it's really cool. But after having played it, I really enjoyed how fast the combat went. We needed one round to get a handle on it, and then it was just like they attack, you attack, they attack, you attack, we're done. And it was like I think this is the fastest combat system we've had. And maybe it's because we were fighting a swarm of identical enemies, but that's usually what you're doing in any game.
Identical like Mook enemies.
Yeah,
but hurts.
Right, but even if they had been doing more damage, if they were all identical, it would have been the same.
Well, I mean, more like that they would have been harder to hit.
Yeah, they would have been harder to hit, and they would have hit you harder, but it still would have moved fast. You guys are doing all the rolls. The target number isn't changing, which is in that way similar to Index Card RPG. The target number is the same for the whole fight. I really appreciated how fast the combat went. I thought that was cool.
Yeah. I thought it all pulled together pretty decent. Setting wise, it's more personal preference in not liking really detailed, lots of lore settings, and that's really me.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't have the patience or the brain power for it.
Although I felt like there, and again, just I didn't feel there was as much like compared to like Mistborn, where it's like very lore centric. Like this one was like, okay, I'm picturing all of like the old sci-fi ones where they show up and there's an alien planet civilization and we're like monkeying around flipping switches.
Oh yeah,
not really knowing.
I put this more at like early like early World of Darkness maybe.
Yeah.
Where it's just more I just don't have the patience or the wherewithal for like a lot of predetermined lore.
Right. I think every game we've played since needs to send a thank you letter to Mistborn, because every one of them were like, yeah, I mean, it's not great, but then there was Mistborn. This is way better than that.
Right. I did like rule book wise. It's like, well, I mean, this book needs editing, but it's nothing like the Conan book.
Yeah, exactly.
No. I think I could find things. I had so much trouble understanding them. It felt like it was just talking around itself.
Yeah.
And I needed the layout or whatever just to be more uniform.
I think the difference too, when I made my character, like I intentionally went out and picked the abilities like I could understand fully. And so, and I made sure to take ones that were simplified, like, oh, it's a healer. I'll do that. I think our group is a healer, right?
Same with me. Like, I can go fast. I get that.
And that I had no abilities that cost me anything.
Right.
Like, they're all fucking enabler.
Right.
I just couldn't read like the mechanics well enough. So I was like, I want to be like this guy, and I kind of want to have this personality, and I want to break things. There we go.
Yeah.
And then it was just a matter of like eventually just like going through and cutting and like copy pasting that information into my notepad files, so I've got it all in one place.
Yes.
And then realizing like there's more information on the character type stuff in the big core book.
Yeah.
And going, oh, okay, that's the other stuff that this is referencing.
Right.
Because I got to a point I'm reading through like my heart is synth steel, and it's like unless you have tier 4 ability, and I'm like, wait, what tier 4?
Right.
Only lists tier 1.
Yeah.
But that's in the Destiny book.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a sign off.
Yeah.
We'll be back next week with a kind of a unique one. We're gonna do 10 candles, which the nature of that game requires in-person play. Trappy, I think you're close enough to be invited. We don't have a full table for it yet. I think Jason and Kenny are both kind of too far. Jason, if he was really committed, but
If I had you know what? If I had a car, or if SoCal had like actual fucking light rail.
no, you're dreaming.
I'm not
yeah,
gonna make
I know.
you pay $6 a gallon to come and visit Southern California. That's not worth it. But yeah, I wanted to quick
I
summarize my
live in
thoughts because I didn't
Southern
get a chance to.
California.
Oh yeah.
Just
Let's
3 hours out into the desert.
Let's hear from Trappy.
I feel like the details of this setting will take me a lot longer to get to. I wanted to like the world, but I don't feel like we had enough time to get really into it. I do like the core mechanic of what the DCs are right away, so you're not fucking around trying to hit that, and it's using your skills creatively that makes the most difference. Because I want to do that in D&D, and I don't feel like they stack or make nearly as much of an effect as this does, where it straight up just reduces the DC. That's really easy for me to understand, and I feel like that element of Numenera I really enjoy, and it's something that I might want to revisit before. But I think it would take like a bunch of sessions to get a feel enough for the world to be like, okay, no, I understand what's going on. Because right now I'm just like, woo, fun. All right, that's all I want to say.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, we didn't give you a chance a minute ago, but yeah. So, like I said, 10 candles next week. The wonderful Lisa, aka Dungeon Matron, who's been on the stream a couple times before, will be with us for that one. And I'm not sure who else. We might have Alan for that. Whoever can get to be physically at my house, because you need actual candles. But yeah, thank you guys so much for playing this one, awesome. And thank you everyone for watching. Yeah, we'll see you next time.
All right, take care.
We are